All right, so I think we're back. I don't know, maybe we'll find out.
We outside.
Welcome everybody to this annual episode of Cadillac on Mars. Right now we're on the one time a year shit. I'm just kidding. Tonight we got me, Chalfie. We got my man T in the house.
No.
Delvin's around, but he's allegedly with his lady because it's her birthday or something crazy. So he says if he hangs out with us, he's gonna get in trouble. So that's really on him, not on us. So it's whatever to him. But yeah, it's been a minute since we've been back on. Per usual, it's always the end of the year where everything is fucking just it's a lot. It's end of the year, start of the year at the same time.
Mhm.
I've had a lot of late nights. When we left off, I was doing school mergers, so that's been taking up a lot of my time still, and then just general things. So really haven't had a lot of opportunities. And then my son started taking a college class on Mondays, so that kind of ate up our time, and honestly, just generally like brain fried. So it was either like confine the moment to podcast or go to sleep. And so sometimes I was like, I'm just gonna go to sleep because that's where I'm at in my head right now. But yeah, we're here, man. I'm super hyped. I'm super excited to be back on, kind of just talk about some shit, catch up. Um, I know we got the usual people just hitting us up like, hey, are you around? What's going on? What's going on with the Cadillac? And I'm like, it's been in the shop. We're tuning the engine, getting the upholstery taken care of, had to do a tire rotation, all those things to just, they're old cars. They take a lot of work to keep them running. So sometimes you got to go through some maintenance windows. So as I told people, we'll be back. We just needed a minute to kind of get some shit together. But T, what's up, dude, man? What's been up with you? And it's been a couple months. I know we tap in here and there, but anything new? Anything
Oh man,
exciting?
whole lot of life. Just got back last night from Memphis, Tennessee, where I had my family reunion. My mother's side, I don't really know my dad's side. It's not that I'm saying so. I never really knew them, and I feel my sister was like, I think they all dead. I'm like, well, there you
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
But my mom's side is alive and strong, and we had a family reunion, and so all my aunts, all my living aunts, and my uncle, we celebrated them and us, and it's very, very, very dope. I'll get more in detail on that on my own show, but like I said, just it was super dope to ride out, hop in the go. We got from Cleveland, Ohio, down to Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
About 12 hours, with stops, getting gas, taking pee breaks, and all that good stuff. If you could drive it straight nonstop, you probably do it in about 10. And that's simply not the future we live in yet. Cars need gas or
Yeah.
electricity if you were driving an
Yeah.
electric vehicle. So it is what
Some
it
type of
is.
way to get you there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Tennessee's got me fucked up. Only because whenever someone says it, all I think of is that stupid pickup line. You're the only 10 I see.
see, whereas I always think of if you remember Young Buck,
Mhm.
Cashville, Tennessee,
Mm,
Tennessee.
mm. Also goes along with a game of horseshoes.
Tennessee, facts. I
Tennessee.
get that. So, dope road trip, man. A lot of fun. Me, my Vanessa, my partner, and my kid Lee rode out, and
Hmm.
I think we did fine. I was it's stupid to say this, and it kind of is in the good, the great category.
All right.
My kid graduated Sunday, June the 1st.
Okay.
The Nintendo Switch 2 came out basically the night of June the 4th, June the 5th, midnight, if you will.
Hmm.
June the 4th, 9 p.m. on the West Coast, Best Coast. So, just saying.
Hmm. Stay blessed, Coast.
And we were talking about going right after Vanessa got done with work Thursday, and I was too tired.
Hmm.
Simply did not have it in me, and so we was like, we'll just get up early Friday morning, and so we did do that. But the problem is, what's good, D Life? The problem is, I fell asleep on the couch Thursday night.
Hmm.
Wake up like 1 o'clock when I need to get up at like 4:30.
Uh-huh.
Meaning I only got like 3 more hours of sleep and not like a continuous set of hours of sleep. I was dead by the time we got to Cincinnati, Ohio, which is at the bottom of Ohio. From the top to the bottom of Ohio, I was like, I cannot do this. And I had to hand the keys over to Ness. And
Hmm.
Ness took us through most of Kentucky,
Okay.
going into Tennessee. and you got to drive through the fat part of Kentucky at that point. Because if you ever look Kentucky in the States, kind of got a little skinny on one side, skinny one side, but a
Yeah,
fat.
we don't body shame states, man. I don't know why you
Oh,
want to say that
oh,
word.
hey. I put nothing but respect on Kentucky because they got a hell of a governor. Those people in that state try to do as best as they can
Mhm.
with a Republican House and Senate in that state, constantly trying to set them up for failure.
Yeah.
So
Plus the
respect
herbs
to
and
them.
spices.
Yeah, bitch, you taste them herbs and spices. It's like one of my favorite memes ever, man. It's the colonel holding a piece of chicken up to this
Yeah.
woman who may be his wife, may not be, and
I don't
it
know.
just say, "Bitch, you taste them herbs and spices."
Because you popped that one up the other day too, and I was like, God damn, this shit is like fucking hilarious.
That's one of them classic OGs right there, man. But yeah, man, got down to Tennessee just fine. My mom's took care of business and got us a dope Airbnb, man. It's a really nice little home
Tight.
to stay in. It was very lovely to do that. And just had a
Now
good time, man.
is I know with your eldest, he would contribute to the drive.
Yeah.
Is Lee driving and is Lee
So
contributing to the drive?
Lee can kind of drive, but because they don't got their license yet and their learners
Uh-huh.
has expired, they could not help this time around.
Ah,
But
okay.
they were otherwise good in the back seat, hanging
Yeah.
out, being a part of the trip. So they did
Okay.
what they can do.
Yeah. Doing their pilotingness.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So
All right. Take it.
uh
Take it.
yeah, for sure. So that was dope. Xander drove down with his partner separately from us because they had family. Because oddly enough, just randomly enough, her family lives right in that general same area, just in Mississippi, which is literally just a state border. It's like right across because Memphis sits at the edge of Tennessee. And so they had to go, they were down there for her grandfather's memorial. And luckily they were like the reunion was on Saturday, the memorial was on Sunday. So they got to attend both, which was lovely.
No,
And
that's-
so yeah, that was very, very nice. So man, just vibing. Just for more recent things, you know what I'm saying? A lot of other
yeah.
stuff. I'm saying my kid graduated high school. I've done it. I have successfully graduated 2 children. I have successfully raised 2 people to almost adult. My youngest will be an adult, legal adult, be 18 next month.
Yeah.
So I mean, I did it, baby. Caught the Pokemon.
Yeah.
great success unto us. You know what I'm saying? So respect it and
Well,
respect the effort.
talk to me about the like the emotions you went through going through it, like a second graduation, and the fact that it had like finality to it.
Much better than the first time, which was just
Really?
so jarring. It's basically I've been going through. So I made a point to attend every last thing this kid had all year long.
Yeah.
This will be the last Christmas performance. This will be
Mhm.
the last this show. This will be the last that show. And so I went to all of it, and I had moments at some of them, not at others.
Mhm.
And so my brain, I think, and my heart were fully prepared. And right as I'm saying graduation was kind of about to get started, I cried a little bit. And I cried hard. So I know it's a little bit of crying hard, but that's exactly what it was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't bawl for a long time, but it was a very intense cry for just a little bit. And then I got it out of me, and I was fine. And I just got to celebrate and cheer my baby. And then I cried again at the end because it was the last time my kid is in choir. So they bring the choir, they bring the senior members of the choir up to sing the alma mater.
Mhm.
And my kid, of course, in the choir and was a part of that little situation. And I teared up a little bit of that because I was like, that'll be the last time that happens. Because now the reality of it is unless I just want to be contribute to community, I'm not going to be going back to that high school for anything. And who knows? My kid might come home from school and be like, hey, let's go to one of these stupid performances and go see what's popping or whatever. Just
I want to go revisit something like that. You're not gonna be like Forrest Gump, like out here cutting the football field for free.
Yeah, for sure. So reality, that was it. That was the last time I would experience those things. And like I said, just that one was more just a tear rolling down the eye. You know what I'm saying? On glory tear, one single one down the cheek.
And I think I mean I could totally understand that because it's like it's not that you love one child more than the other or anything like that. It's the experience. Now that you've already had the experience once, you've gone through it. Like now, this one you can enjoy. It's not
I
the emotional roller coaster. You can actually be more, not that you weren't present, but you can be more present. Like, oh yeah, there is going to be a final choir. There
yeah.
is going to be a final promotion. Like, I'm going to do all the things. And so you get to be there.
I gotta tell you, as when you say that and I reflect on it, that's what it has been the entire time raising my second child.
Hmm.
My first child prepared me for everything.
Yeah.
I went through all these new things, and then by the time I got around the second one, like, I'm ready for this. I can take
Yeah.
on this world. I can take
You're
this.
like, I
I can
got it.
take on the challenges of
Yeah.
this, and do just fine. And I feel like I might have done. I think I've done okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I never want to give myself. People always like, "Oh, T, you did this, and good job, T." And I'm like, nah, bro. It takes a village,
Yeah.
and it is too many people who have been in my life who have helped in some way, shape, or form. Just said a kind word when I needed it, or literally,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, came through with bread
Yeah.
in the form of cash, but
Yeah.
bread
But
sometimes
Brett is
if I
like,
could,
we
yeah,
need to eat.
as in we need to eat, you know what I'm saying? And so it's just I love that, and I respect it, and so forth. Delvin and I recorded a Father's Day episode some weeks back that you will hopefully get coming up this weekend when Father's Day rolls around. And a similar statement to that is it's not just me, and therefore I
Yeah.
cannot take credit for it because it simply isn't my credit to claim. I'm a people are like, you're such a good dad and this, that, and the third. I go, sure thing, I'll take
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. You're like, I'm not saying I'm not. I'm just saying like there's way more to this.
Yeah, exactly. And that's and that's all. And I always want to make sure everybody gets the credit they deserve because they deserve it.
Yeah.
I did not do this alone. I did not do this without a many a helping hand, and I love that, man. So it was
Yeah.
dope. It was really dope, man. It's lovely. My kid got solid. Went out with a solid GPA. They got a silver cord. You know what I'm saying? So that silver cord, I think, is because they did AP. Their AP African American Studies class is what they got that for, in their GPA or something like that. So they didn't get all the lots of people up there was looking like 4-star generals. They had you know
Everything.
and this, that, the third, and here we're gonna throw a blue one on top of this shit, son, and so forth. And so it was wild seeing some of these kids up there. It's like, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But it was really, really lovely. The graduation itself was wonderful to be a part of. And I just great, man. Just great. My mom and my sister came. See, that's the thing. So I got to see my mom and my sister twice in a single week, which is, hasn't happened in years.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty dope because my mom and my sister came up from Virginia to be at Lee's graduation. And that was really nice. So
Yeah, I'm super happy about that because like one, just getting to be like for you having this moment to getting to enjoy it is like I think really really great.
Yeah.
So I think that's a cool thing. You leaving? My son's gonna go skateboarding right now.
Tell him to be safe.
Yeah, so tell so he's actually been getting out a lot too. I do want to talk about your Switch adventures, but I want to hold that to like what you
That's
playing
in the
later.
good and great and playing situation. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get to all that stuff. Over on my end, it's one of those things like, as always, I think like Indio Techno called it out one time where he's like, "Oh, Chalvy says I didn't do anything this month," and then rattles off like 50 things.
But go to 8 concerts,
right?
Graduate a class out, and
right.
Get rid of some teachers, bring some new teachers in, love of life, love of his life, love his kids, just a lot. So what went down in these couple of months, we have not been on this particular operation.
I mean, on the work end, it's like I said, it really has been a lot of like late nights or late meetings, things like that. Bringing back staff members, hiring new staff, letting some staff members go. This year was actually really interesting with like letting staff members go and kind of like it sucks to have to let someone go, especially when you know what effect you're going to have on them because you're going to change their life, and that's not enjoyable. But with the 2 people I let go this year, it was actually way different because the first one I spoke to, I've been letting her know I tried all the things, we worked on all the things, and when we finally had to have the sit down conversation, I was like, hey, yeah, here we are. I think we need to go. I think we need to do something different next year, and I'm not planning on bringing you back. And so she's like, and I really expected her, as they usually do, they're upset or crying or just, but why and how come? And she was like, I understand. Okay. And I said, really? And she goes, when I look at the teachers that you have on campus, I'm
Yeah.
not on their level. She's like,
Okay.
I'm just not." She's like, "And these kids deserve that." She's like, "The things that you guys do here," she's like, "It's not like you're asking more of them." She's like, "You're a very good principal, and you really did help me grow, and you really showed me, things I could do to improve." She's like, "I'm just not I'm not where they are, and this school deserves that."
Okay.
And, so I was like, "Wow, okay." Which also, like, to kinda reverse a little bit, we had our last staff meeting, like, 2 weeks before this or a week before this conversation, and, I kinda caught up on it because they did this, like, closing circle where it's gonna be like, you give a heart sticker to someone that you appreciate, then you say why you appreciate them, and then we go around the circle. Usually, when we do stuff like that, I try to dip out. Or, I'm either not in the room or I just wanna separate because I want that to be their
Th-
time.
yeah.
And I don't want it to be like, "Not who's gonna say something to me?"
Yeah.
And so then they're like, "No, stay, stay." And I was like, "Ah, fucking bitches. Alright, fine." So I stay. And this teacher that I was letting go, she was like, "The person I really appreciate the most really spent a lot of time with me, helping me grow, really allowing me to take chances, but really pushing me to improve and making me a better teacher." And she kind of went on for a bit. And I was like, "Damn, who the fuck is she talking about? Like, this person put in some work." And I really thought it was her grade level partner.
Yeah.
And so she was just like, "And so I really want to say, hey, Alex, thank you for everything." And I was like, "Oh, fuck, bitch, I'm about to fire you." Like, but we had already had pre-conversations, so she knew it was coming.
Yeah.
But it was just like I said, it's really different when she was able to be like connected.
Not to delve too deep into the operation of your situation, but what is firing a teacher?
Okay. So so technically they're not like, okay, so in this case, it's not that they're fired. Okay, so there's levels of firing, or
Yeah.
we call it letting go.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing something wild and egregious, illegal,
Yeah.
um, it still is a process to let you go or to fire you. It's got to go through all these steps and investigation. Um, if you, but basically, you have a contract for a year if you're still like in temporary or probationary status,
Okay.
meaning that at the end of every year, there's a possibility that you could be let go.
Okay.
Until you're a permanent teacher, then the game changes. You have union protection, you have things like that.
Okay.
So, if we have this conversation and I say, "T, you know what? Just thank you for everything you've done this year, but we're not going to bring you back."
Yeah.
There's an evaluation form. I've been basically documenting all year long. We've been talking the whole year,
Yeah.
and then you can't return to our district. You can teach anywhere you want, any other place you want to be. You just can't come back to ours because you're not a good fit for us. Because the thing I have to consider as well is, are you not a good fit for my school, or are you not a good fit for the district?
Yeah.
Because there's always a no one ever has a career, very rarely has a career from the beginning to the end at one school site. You're probably going to change 2 times minimum.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in a case like that, it's like, well, what if they went to my colleague's school? And I'm like, well, I mean, they were fine here. And then realize like, oh, I let one slide. And so we just end the relationship.
Okay.
Sometimes people eke their way back in for a variety of reasons. Maybe they got a specialty that we need or something. But then that's realistically it. And then they can be in other places. Now, if you did something super wild, like touching kids or fucking doing drugs on campus, then you lose your credential.
What
And
kind of
then
drugs?
if you're like shooting up on campus,
Okay.
no one's gonna come after you for the gummies.
Okay.
But if you're, and it's more like some of your outside life can affect your work life. Like for example, um, if you get a DUI,
Yeah.
you need to report that shit to
Yeah.
your job.
Yeah.
It's also a question of judgment. Like, wait, if you can't like understand that you shouldn't be behind the wheel under the influence, I don't know if we can put you in charge of a classroom or a school,
Yeah.
And then if you don't talk about it, then now it looks like you're hiding it. So it's got some weird stuff that goes along with it. Um, so yeah, it's pretty like cut and dry, like a simple process to do. But the main
Mhm.
thing is like, are you documenting and are you notifying the person? along the
Yeah,
way.
I was just wondering if they could come back to teach for you, and you clearly made that point. Like, no, they cannot. So,
No, it's a wrap.
yeah,
It's a wrap.
yeah,
Now, like I said, I have seen people in the district where I have been like, "Why are you back here?" Like,
yeah,
I let you go. And then
yeah.
when I'll ask somebody like, "Hey, how did they get back?" Then it's like, "Oh, they we needed a teacher who whatever, whatever." Or
Okay,
sometimes it's just like HR didn't catch it.
okay.
And they're like, "Oh yeah, you did let him go like a couple years ago, but yeah, we didn't catch that you did let him go, so they're back." And I'm like,
Wow.
"All right, cool." So it
Uh,
could
how
it could be weird like that.
how many districts are there in, like, I guess your the general LA area? I mean, like,
Ooh.
how is that laid out?
It's okay. So like speaking on Southern California districts, it's
Mm,
fucking nuts, dude. Like, okay, so you have LA Unified, which covers a lot of Los Angeles County, but
yeah.
that doesn't mean that's the only district. Whereas, like, I know some states are like the county is the district and that's that.
Hmm.
Nah, you have within LA County probably another. I'm tossing out a random ass number, but I'm probably not far off. Probably another 15 school districts
Yeah.
in Orange County. Just in my area where I work, there's my district, and then just surrounding us is another 6 school districts. So some school districts are a combination of like 2 cities,
Yeah.
and some districts are really like 1 city, and some are like half the county. So the whole state, I mean, without Googling it, probably like if we go from end to end, probably has like, I'm gonna say over 200 school districts,
Yeah.
if that. So it's very different. Whereas I know, like, I remember talking to Sean once, and he was saying like the Georgia district or something like that, and I was like, "The fuck are you talking about?" Or like the county district, and I was
So
like, "Oh, that's crazy."
I went to school in DeKalb County, Georgia. I went to school in Decatur, Georgia, which was in the DeKalb County school system.
Uh huh.
But also, I lived in the city of Atlanta, and I should have probably been going to Atlanta city schools.
Uh huh.
And so, a lot of times in the South, it's like that. There'll be the city, there'll be a county, and that's how they level stuff out.
Hmm.
Here where I live, my city has a school district. The city next to me has a school district. The city next to me has other city going the other way has a school district. They seem to do it by cities in Ohio, or at least in the county I live in. Not sure if that's at all of Ohio, but it's like
Yeah.
basically pick a city, it's a school district. And like there's some cities that I think there's one or two cities that are like, okay, let's link up. But there's 2 cities. There's Avon, Ohio, and there's Avon Lake, Ohio. And those 2 cities, which are next door to each other, are 2 different school districts,
Okay.
which is stupid. So it's like that. It feels like such a waste of resources. But I'm sure people pay their taxes and it's like, nah, I want my school. Avon Lake is so much more classy than Avon, and I want them to have their own school.
And that's kind of what happens too. Is like, you do get these offshoots because they're like, we're not them.
Yeah,
And usually it's the more higher socioeconomic, more affluent areas that don't want to be associated with the other side of town or whatever. So like, we're gonna be our own district, and then so it kind of really like changes the game like in a super weird way. But yeah.
man.
So then the other teacher I was letting go, very similar to, I've been talking with her all year, and I said so. With our conversations, I think this is again where we have this conversation, and we're just going to go in 2 different directions. And I did tell them I'll be writing you like put me down as a reference. I'll send you your letter of recommendation, thing like that.
Yeah,
But I think you need to explore some different options. And she was just like, you know what? And I was like, here it is. Like, okay, she's gonna want to fight. And so she's like, you know what? You have a really hard job to do. She's like, but you are making the right decision. And I was like, okay. And she's like, because her issue was like wanting to like argue people or just she would get stuck in her way and not want to like get out of it. And so
yeah,
it's like she had conflict with students, she had conflict with staff, she had conflict with parents, like just and there were times where she would say to me like, I know I could have handled that conversation better. I just didn't want to. And I'm like, oh, you don't get to do that. Like this is I tell people like um being a principal is middle management
yeah,
and just working in a school is customer service. I know you're upset. How can I help you? It's the equivalent of like, I bought this thing and it's broken. It's like, you're not yelling at me because I'm not the manufacturer. You just want to be heard and get some results. And so, with her, I told her, I said, sometimes you just got to listen, repeat back what they said, and then tell them you're going to work on it. And that's as far as it has to go. And then I'll pick it up from there. I'll help you out. We'll work it through. And she didn't. And she fucked up like multiple times. So she was just like, she's like, I made a lot of mistakes this year. She's like, and in the end, I feel bad for how I behaved, or embarrassed. She's like, I really should have handled things differently. She's like, so I get it. I understand why you're letting me go. She's like, I would let me go too, because I was very problematic this year. And I was like, hey, thank you for seeing that. I said, and that really goes to show that you're not a problematic person. You had a lot to really adjust through to this year. And, but the fact that you're here right now, being reflective, owning like the decisions you made. Okay, great.
Yeah. All
Then
right.
we're good.
Last one. How far out did you know that those two probably weren't going to cut the mustard? Weren't going to make it?
Okay, so the first one I mentioned, honestly, probably within the first 4 weeks of school.
Jeez Louise, that's
Yeah,
so
but
hard.
but I don't let these people like just flounder all fucking year.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
right out the gate, when I saw, because she interviewed so well, where I was like,
yeah,
oh, this is gonna be good, and she just like, it's almost like she just never put the foot on the gas. She
yeah,
was kind of like, I knew another like uh sort of car analogy is she was learning how to drive stick and could just never master the gas to clutch ratio,
yeah,
so it was
yeah.
like, fuck, come
She
on.
stutter
Yeah,
out.
just bucking the whole time, stalling out. But instead of letting her just sit high and dry, it was like, hey, I'm gonna send a curriculum coach your way. We're gonna work on this. I'm gonna get you into this program where we're gonna get you like coached up. I'm gonna have you go observe someone. I'm gonna have someone observe you. I'm gonna give you feedback. Like this constant cycle of just trying to get her there. Because some people need that, and then they're like, I got it. I'm good. Let's go.
Yeah,
And so the fact that it just didn't happen, it was like, fuck. And then the other one was probably somewhere around like Thanksgiving break, where like the year was going well. Like her teaching was fantastic. And but it's also got to be the long-term fit. Like I have to think, if this person becomes a permanent teacher, I'm stuck. We are stuck. And
yeah,
if she's problematic like this in her first year, woo, I can't imagine what the future brings. So it was just like, again, it's having to see like short term, long term, is this worth it? You know?
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, one in like the first month or so, and the other one like right around like Thanksgiving break. And then I was like, all right, we gotta make some changes here. So
Fair, fair.
I did it. But so yeah, now we're kind of just moving away from work stuff and just things that I've done. Um okay, so over the last 2 months, if consider that I probably was doing something work related 2 to 3, about 2 evenings per week. And then within that was just like probably the most like amazing 2 months. So my wife was fortunate enough to go to the opening game for the Dodgers this season. So
Yeah,
that was really cool. So I was just like, not saying I was jealous, but low key I was hating internally. Like, okay, cool, you get to go. All right, I see you. But there was no problem because then a couple days later, it was like free Dodger hoodie day, and I didn't have anything on the schedule, and I was able to cop some tickets for like dirt fucking cheap, and then get a good sweater out of it. So I was like, hey, if I can get out of work early, you want to go? So I didn't make it to opening day, but I did make it to, I'm gonna call it third opening day. So
free. Hey, look, giveaway day seemed doper to me than opening day.
yeah,
They,
so
they ain't give you nothing at opening day, did they?
right, exactly. The only thing they got was my money, and I didn't get anything in return. But yeah, so I got a little sweater, went out there, had a great time, super, super fun. Energy was just great. So it was like, okay, we had a great, great time, made it. Everything was like seamless. Um, as we get into what we're watching, we haven't talked about Sinners yet, so I want to tap into that. But man, that movie was so good and just lingered, like, in my mind in an amazing way for a while. Um, Kicked off a bunch of fucking concerts. Um, I talk a lot about Deaf Heaven, so they played locally. Got to hear their album live, and that show was so fucking good. It was a smaller venue called the Belasco Theater, super tiny theater. They just sounded amazing. Um, Funny moment in that show was in between bands. There was this younger group of people. Um, as I'm nearing 50, I'm just going to call them children. So these kids were talking. They looked like they were fresh out of high school into their freshman year of college. And, one kid is talking about how he missed this show and he missed that show and he missed this other show. And so the guy in front of me, it's like the guy in front of me is at the stage. I'm right behind him. And then the kids are to the left of us. So the guy in front of me turns around and he goes, "Hey, for what it's worth," he's like, "I know I'm not in your conversation. You probably don't give a shit about what I have to say." He's like, "Go to the shows." And he's like, "I'm not gonna go by myself. Like, nah." He's like, "I'm promise you, just go to the shows.
Yeah.
You will regret it by not going to them." He's like, "I'm here by myself." And so then I go, "Well, fuck it. If he already opened the door, I'm gonna walk right in." So, so I was like, "Hey, for real, he's not wrong." I was like, "I'm here by myself." And the other guy was like, "Yeah, I told you, I'm here alone too." He's like, "And I'm going to this alone and that alone." I go, "Same." I go, "There's shows I do go with my son or my wife, take my daughter, some, none, whatever. I go, and it just depends." I go, "And there's some things that are for me." And I go, "It's just more about confidence and like getting like familiar with like, or just comfortable with yourself." I was like, "So don't miss the shows." I go, "If anything, you get in, you get out." And I go, "Just like right now." Because then after that, me and the guy just started like talking about shows we've been to and how some of the shows we've been there, we've been in the room together,
Yeah.
So I was like, "Yeah, man, it's fucking cool. Like, you should do this." And so then the kid was like, "I think I might." And his friends were like, "Oh, no, it's still kind of weird." And I was like, "I mean, it is." I go, "But do you ever watch TV by yourself?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Do you need someone there?" And they're like, "No." I was like, "Hey, listen, I got a system. I fucking love my system. Um, come to the show when I want. So if I want to come to see the opening acts, great, I got it. If I want to see just the headliner, fine. Right after that, I stop by Del Taco on the way home. I get myself a cheese quesadilla, and then and I'm good to go. And that's my night.
For
I don't
real.
have to drop anybody off. I don't have to pick anybody up. I don't have to wait for, well, I got to see with my wife and see what she says. Or I got to, whatever. Like, oh, well, the kids' performances, whatever. I'm like, nah, just fucking come and go. I can park wherever I want. So I don't have to hear, my legs hurt. That's too far to walk. Or, just do your thing. So he was like, well, you know what? Maybe. So that was like super fun. Um, and then right after that show, I've talked about how my wife works on like the Beyonce projects. So we got to go to see Beyonce do her Cowboy Carter tour at SoFi. We didn't get driven in like we did last time, but we had all access. Like we was up in that bitch. Man, there was a picture I posted. I had like fucking my wrist looked like Thanos' glove, just hella bracelets, all of different colors. And so it was just like, damn,
You
this is
know where
fucking
I
cool.
can't go, motherfucker.
Right. What are you talking about? They're like, you can't come here. I was like, ching.
But I can, can't I? You
Yeah, I
can't go
can.
where I can go.
Yeah, right.
You can't.
You could only be at this gate. That's wild because you work here. But me, free for all, baby. Free for all.
Oh, shit.
So we were walking around. We were in and out of places. The ladies got some like little like VIP gift bags because it was my wife, her boss, and their coworker. So it was like a company outing in a sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Company consists of fucking 3 ladies. But so it was really, really cool. The highlight for me though was because they do a lot of video clips in between the sections. And there was one point where you hear the grrr, and I was like, hold on, wait a minute. What type of segment are we going? Is that West Side? I'm like, interesting, And then all of a sudden I hear like I hear some beats drop, and I'm like, I just yell out, I was like, is that fucking JPEG Mafia right now? Like, and then it's like JPEG, it's Death Grips, it's West Side Gut, and in this video clip, and I was like, anybody else in the room recognize these sounds or just me? Because I feel like it's probably just me, And I went bananas because the latest JPEG album, I mean, was really like probably my album of the year. I listen to that
Okay.
motherfucker a lot. I really like his production. I really like he's outside of the box in a lot of ways. So just hearing that was like, oh fuck. But
Thanks
whether
for the
you're
love,
beyond
Jay Martinez. You know what I'm saying? We in the building. We had to take a couple months off, but we back at it.
yeah, exactly. We're here. Um, but so that was just a lot of fun. But I was gonna say, whether you're a Beyonce fan or not, like nobody can argue that she is not a phenomenal performer.
Performer.
Like
Par
every like
excellence.
to put it all out, like to just really like it was funny. My wife was like, how are we the same age? She just danced for like 3.5 hours straight. I can't walk to the parking lot, or the fact that I don't have a voice anymore.
Look, your wife is underselling herself. I'm sure she could dance for 3.5 hours. She just wouldn't want to.
Yeah. No, on the way home, she was struggling. She was like, "How far is this parking lot?" I was like, "That's why I go to shows alone. I told you." So
Bruh, highest grossing country tour by either a black person, black woman, or ever, just ever.
yeah,
It's something like that. It
I
just
think
hit
it's
some.
all
Yeah,
like
it
just
just hit
this
some
week.
crazy record. Yeah.
Yeah. So the show was amazing, and it's like she's flying around like in a fucking Cadillac, donked out
Respected.
Cadillac. She's flying on the fucking horseshoe. She's like whipping all around. She's dancing like in front of me, where it's just like, oh, this is like fucking crazy. Like it's amazing. But just even her own performers are great. The audio is like dialed the fuck in. So
Appreciate
it's
it. So
just really
Chaffee is grateful. Is such a good friend. So he always slides me. Basically, I get to come in these concerts with Chaffee
yes.
via FaceTime. And this time I was terrible. I was so sick that day. I don't know what hit me. But I
Yeah.
was like, just give me a little bit of something, man. And of course, this is just via FaceTime. It's like so dope that live must be something that just must be pristine. It has
Yeah.
to be. To
Yeah.
me, as
Mhm.
clear and clean as it sounds just via a telephone. My man be hitting me up on.
Yeah.
It's so dope.
Yeah, it really was like just the fucking wildest shit. It was so
Yeah.
cool. So it was just a great evening. And then went to go see the GNX tour. Um Here's what I'm gonna say. A great tour.
Yeah.
Super good. Wish I had seen Beyonce second
Because you wouldn't have that comparison in your head.
because the showmanship wasn't there. Not to say Kendrick doesn't perform, but this GNX tour in comparison to I think I've seen Kendrick now four or five times.
Yeah.
This one was very like underwhelming. Like he actually does some theatrics on his stage. This time it was just like just whatever was on the backdrop, no real extra stuff happening in the catwalks and stuff like that. Dancers were super underutilized, not a lot of lighting effects. It was just really, it felt more like a theater show or like that it was designed for a smaller venue and put into a big venue. I mean, he sounded great. He was rapping his ass off. And especially for California, we was up. Like we was up. So
that was 3 nights. Which night did you go on for that one?
We went to the final night.
Okay. You got to see AG Chike then, right?
Yes. So that was really
we
we got a treat because man, I would have been hot if fucking Justin Bieber would have came out on my night. I would have been like, that's the literal not like us. Why are you you do have a weird why are you around?
Why are you actually look as I get older and look back at it, that ain't Justin's fault. That's a lot of other people's fault. So I'm gonna give him a walk.
Right. Yeah. No, for these young artists, like I feel bad for them. They got some fucked up lives. Like their reality's broken. But I also don't want to see him. So I'm good. I think that also the structure should have been different because it's like everybody is like, fuck it, man. People are throwing ass left and right. Like it was amazing. And the singing was great. The crowd they were into it. SZA should have been up front. It shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been an overlay of like Kendrick does a few songs, SZA does a few songs. Energy was not right, so it really felt like it was like it's going up, it's going off. All right, I'm gonna go pee now. I'll be back.
You are the first person outside of Drake stands I've heard say anything not necessarily ill because it's not ill. It's
No,
just
no, she's
it's your critique of this perform of the show. But
yeah.
of course, if any Kendrick stand out there, I mean any Drake stand out there, gonna be like, see, he know what he's talking about. That show was whack, and like, well, clearly not.
No,
It's sold
no,
out everywhere.
yeah,
It's fire.
because it's yeah, because it's not that the show is whack. It's just it needed to bring more, and for a venue that size, you got to bring the fireworks, you got to bring you got to bring all the razzle dazzle. You know,
Yeah,
like this is not a baby show. It's not a festival concert. You really got to fucking throw down. Um, but like I said, Kendrick fucking went off. And
yeah.
like I was saying earlier, just with all the West Coast shit in there, and then even Mustard. I mean, he came and did his set, and that was just people were going off. It's still fucking full daylight outside, and people were just moving. Um, and then there's a song that really just basically my wife and I have accepted it, and we embrace it for what it is. It kind of just haunts us everywhere we go, and that is Miley Cyrus Party in the USA. Like, just it plays everywhere to the point where we're like, if it's playing, we're going off. Like, it's gonna be a party. It's a party in the USA. So at the end of DJ Mustard's set, he played Party in the USA, which at that point I think we were gonna go get drinks, and we're like, we can't go. Wait. Hold up. Is that Party in the USA? Like, fuck yes. Because it was like one time we did a trip to San Diego, and we heard it like when we like got into San Diego, and then there was a guy like on the corner like busking on a fucking keyboard, and then he all of a sudden started playing like fucking Party in the USA on his keyboard. Like that whole weekend, everywhere we went, Party in the USA was playing. We were like, the fuck is up with this stupid ass song? And then it was like, you know what? Embrace.
Y'all,
Embrace.
y'all,
It's just telling us this is the vibe. Get in it.
y'all ever renew your vows? That becomes your new song.
Right. Oh yeah. Feel like you got an acoustic version. Which I do like. One of my favorite mashups is Party in the USA mashed up with Party and Bullshit. And they go together really well. They go together really, really well. But so yeah, that show was good. Same venue, SoFi Stadium as Beyonce was. It just, like I said, didn't have the oomph like the other one did. But I think if I would have seen them in reverse, my critique would have been way different. I probably would have been like, fuck it, out of this world. But I also feel like I have a leg to stand on because I do go to a lot of fucking shows. So it's not like I don't know what I'm talking about, you know? And then I went to go see this other band called Dive at the Terragram. And
I'm sorry. What is this venue called? The Terragram?
The Terragram Ballroom. Okay, so it's actually the guy who opened this venue named it after his wife who passed away, and so it's Margaret backwards.
Oh, see, that's
and
fly.
so yeah,
I can't make fun of him.
Because I was like, the first time I heard about it, I was like, what is a fucking Terragram? Like that sounds suspicious. And then when I read about it, I was like, oh man, that's actually really fucking neat. And they were like lovers of going to concerts and promoting and this and that. And so when he had the opportunity to open a venue, he did, and he named it after her. I was like, all right, okay, I see you, notebook ass motherfucker.
Notebook ass motherfucker.
Show title? Let me go.
Notebook ass motherfucker, I dare you.
Yeah. But that show, okay, so Dive is like they're more in the genre called shoegaze, a little bit slower, a little more.
Yeah, I've heard you say this. What is shoegaze? It's a term phrase I've heard you use before, and I don't think I grasp it.
It would be bands like Beach House is a shoegaze band. They're literally bands where the guitar players and singers just like are known to stare at the ground and at their shoes as they're singing. Shoegaze. Okay. But it's usually like a more like an ambient and ethereal really isn't it. It's almost like goth music, but light. Okay. So less creepy vibes. Okay. But still the longingness is in there. But these guys actually really throw down too. They'll kind of shift their times and tempo. So they're a little more shoegaze math rock in a sense.
I'm sorry, what?
Math rock.
Sir, you have to explain these terms and phrases. Black
Okay,
folk
so
don't know this shit. Okay,
so
this black person don't know that shit.
so math rock would fall more into like your time signatures. You know, like most artists are like 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. This would be like 1, 2, 4, 4, 2, 1. Like but they make a rhythm out of it. So you think of like when you think of like who fucking does it? Um it's not coming to my head right now, but it kind of would be like the Conductor Williams, the fucking Ghostface, where the cadence is off, the beat is off, but it kind of goes. It's like real kind of jerky in a sense. But
A funky time signature is basically
yeah,
what we're having
yeah.
here. Okay,
But
okay.
like so when you hear it, you're like, it's a little bit jarring, but at the same time, it's like, no, but it actually does work. And then when you break it down, it's that these are like the real like musicians where they're like they've studied musical theory, shit
Yeah,
like that,
which
where
is
it's
probably
like,
why they can do some shit like that. Because that,
yeah,
if you don't otherwise know, you're probably gonna stick to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. You know what
exactly,
I'm saying?
exactly.
Yeah,
So they know how to break it down, break that language down in a different way. But this show was so Kendrick was Saturday. This was the Memorial Day weekend, and this show was on the Monday.
okay.
And I texted my wife while I was at the show, and I was like, I think I'm in like an alternate reality right now. Like things are super weird. Like I'm not drunk. I'm shit's just crazy. So she's like, what do you mean? I was like, okay, right now the opening band is on. Um, there's one person who's performing, playing like an electric violin, super distorted. And then the other person is just playing guitar like on their lap, but they're not playing the same music together. They were actually really terrible.
Oh,
Where at one
oh, okay. Hey, respect.
where at one point a lady yells out in the crowd, "Oh God, this is awful!" I was like, "Oh shit!"
But they're open. There are probably some local guys. They just was like, "Hey, fuck it,
Yeah,
come on,
just pick
just do
someone
this
up.
shit."
Pick
Yeah, yeah.
someone up, and then they got off the stage, and everyone's just kind of staring around like, "That was weird." And
It sapped the energy from the room probably a little bit too. You know.
it did. And then at one point, there were these guys talking behind me, which I'm assuming was Russian or Polish. It was a lot of like,
Eastern
but then
European of some sort.
yeah, and then all of a sudden I would just hear like Project Mayhem, and I'm like, this motherfucker's talking about Fight Club. Tyler Durden, but in a very like that's how the transition was. Where I was like, the fuck is happening? Like, am I not here? Like, what is
Portuguese also lightweight sound like that. It's got a little Russian
right?
to it.
True, but so they just kept going, and then they started talking. Then they literally said Fight Club, and I was like, okay, one, the reason why it fucked me up too is it's Fight Club is back on HBO Max. I actually
Mm,
really really like that movie a lot, and so my plan for the summer is to rewatch it. And and so it's been in my head, and that's where I was like, wait a minute, is this like, I know our phones listen to us, is the world listening to me? Because this is fucking crazy, like what's happening right now.
yeah.
So they're fucking club, and I'm just like, this is weird. And then all of a sudden, like three guys come up on stage to do what I'm gonna call in quotes comedy. Um, not
What the
very
fuck
good.
show was you at, my guy?
Right. So that's what I'm saying. And then and they're like throwing out zins to the crowd, and they're trying to crack jokes, but the jokes aren't funny. You know, like none of it is working, to the point where a different woman goes, I would really love to hear some music tonight. I was
It's
like,
like that episode of SpongeBob. Oh, brother.
it was like that, where I was like, you know what? These ladies, they're not wrong, because that first band, not good. These guys, they got to go.
Yeah.
Once Dive came out, then it fucking went off.
Okay.
The show was like such a redemption. I was like, maybe they set the bar low, because they're like, listen, if we bring it way down, we're gonna look way up. So they did. But the show was fun. I had a great time. The sound was amazing. The room it's my ideal venue, where it's like it's nice and small, maybe holding 200 people, if that, you know. So that was like super rad. I loved it.
Whenever I go to a
Um,
small show like that, and I have and like the sound it's clearly quality.
Mhm,
Truly, every time I hang back a little bit and I
mhm.
try to swing by the sound booth and just like, hey man, you did, or a lady can
Yeah,
stop. Everybody shows where it's been late. I always try to give them a
yeah,
little love, like, yo, bro, you
same.
crushed it tonight, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
And they're super appreciative of it because they don't hear that quite often. So there's
yeah,
shows too where like I know like my son's been he's like, "Why do you talk to people?" And I'm like, "One, it's just to like pay the person a compliment. Most people are there to see the performer, but you hit the sound guy up. Like it was one sound guy I talked to. He's like, "Do you go to this show? Or you ever been in this show?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Yeah, I did the sound on those too." And I was like, "Okay, I can hear it. You
yeah.
know, like you got a full rich sound." I was like, "Dude, this is like you got a shitty sound guy. It doesn't matter who your favorite artist is. You're gonna
Fact.
hate that night."
Your experience can go back. Used to be they used to be throw beer bottles at the sound guy. It was a problem.
Yes. Uh huh.
So respected that you say that you came across some dope shit. And like I said, that's a
Yeah.
good lesson you teaching the kids. Like, look, man, put some respect on the sound man's name. Because
Yeah.
without them, your whole experience could be real different.
Yeah. And then some just some fast ones before I get to the last story. Um we did a Vegas trip where we stayed in like the Fremont area, which we've never been. That's like the old Vegas area.
Okay.
Um and that was fun just to do something different. That's where you get to see all the super weird shit. So we were like, "Oh wow." Like, man, this is booty cheeks and titties hanging out all over the place. Like it was wild. A lot of drunk people, just stuff like that. So that was like fun. My wife and I always hit up some tiki bars. So we went to a place called Frankie Tiki's that's like super popular out there. We went to one called Stray Pirate, which was kind of like off the beaten path. We were like, well, let's just see, let's try it out. It ended up having really good drinks, and it was Stray Pirate because like the theme is like a bunch of like stray dogs. So it's like that was like kind of crazy. We went to this one called um, or actually Frankie's Tiki we went to was like one of our last ones, and that felt like old Vegas, where it's like you walked in and immediate like, oh, people smoke in here a lot,
Yeah.
and it's like dirty but the drinks were out of this fucking world. Like some of the best tiki drinks I've had ever. Um, so if you're in Vegas, go to Frankie's Tiki. Just know you're gonna come out smelling like a pack of definite unfiltered Marlboro Reds. So just be ready for that. But the drinks are out of this world. And the other one we went to was Golden Tiki. We did the K1 go-karting. This was over like the spring break. And
Yeah.
that was fun, man. I was out here racing like a motherfucker. I hit Gavin so hard I fucking spun his car around. It's more his fault because he was in my way. Like, hey, don't stop me from taking the lead. Like, I'm here to win. So he got in my way. Got to see the Vegas sphere all lit up. And the one thing I really wanted to see is when the sphere is like the little emoji face. And so then at one point it was the face, and I was like, oh shit, they're doing the face right now. So I was fucking hyped up. And then I don't know if you heard the Cowboy Carter controversy, because then at one point in one of the videos, Beyonce grabs the sphere and like picks it up, and the sphere people were like the main
Oh
guy
yeah,
who owns it.
she had to edit that out of the video, right? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So but then they put in like the Raiders stadium, and the Raiders were like, listen, yes, like why who would be against this? This is fucking dumb.
Please pick my stadium up and say, people, hey, look
Right.
how sweet this fucking stadium is.
Yeah.
Thank you for showing
Yeah.
off.
They're
Give
like,
me free advertising.
you look like cornballs now. Like,
Facts.
yes, fuck yeah. You want the rumors to be that you're gonna play at our stadium? Cool. Yes. Whatever gets people coming.
Yeah.
So got to see that. Did go to I love me some RuPaul's Drag Race. So we went over to, I think it's the Flamingo, where they do the show. We didn't get to see the show, but I did get to go into the gift shop store.
Yeah,
Got me
yeah.
some RuPaul socks that say work. So I love those. And then what else did we do? We had our anniversary. What's that?
How long you been married? What's the anniversary?
Man, why you gotta call me? And I gotta edit this. I think it's like
I just need to know, my nigga. Relax.
no, 18 years. I think it's 18 years.
Solid. Hell
I don't
yeah.
know. My wife will call me out on this. She only listens to the show just to tell me the things I said wrong or what I forgot to mention. So
Hey, if he got it right, he get a smooch on the cheek. All right, put my man on. If he got it wrong, just I don't know, kick him in
keep
the
him
ass.
moving. Keep him moving. And then we kind of did a little hiking here and there. We've been still going on our sandwich tour. So we went to the cheese shop in Beverly Hills, to get the La Gourmand. It was a boring ass sandwich.
Hey man,
but
what's sandwich in Spanish, bro?
What sandwich in Spanish?
Yeah.
Uh, is it just torta? I know we
I
say like.
thought I thought I thought it was that, right? And then
Mhm.
kind of funny Kevin was was like no, and he is Peruvian. And he
Okay,
says
well
no,
that would
it's
be
like
very different.
he says it's like sanguiche or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So saying sanguiche or something like that. And so
Well,
he
because
was like,
that's the Spanglish. Like we would say, oh, get on sandwich.
yeah, and so that's the thing. So they was kind of like fucking because he said sandwich instead of sandwich,
Mhm.
and he was like, no, in Spanish it's sandwich, and then like people was like, no, bro, it's like torta. What the fuck are you talking about? He goes, it's not
Yeah,
torta. Torta is cake, and I'm like, oh shit, man, Spanish, of course, is not the king Spanish anymore. It's all over the place, and every country got their own take on it.
yeah.
So
Because
you know,
whereas like okay, because you got to think of like a cake or like a tort
easy.
is
I
torta.
made sense of that quick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and but in that same concept of sandwiching items, then you get a torta.
Yeah.
So, but whereas like Mexican Spanish, but again, remember I know mostly like LA Mexican Spanish. So it's just usually a torta, un sandwich,
Yeah.
but that's just more Spanglish. Um, but the last thing we did was we went to Rolling Loud. Or not the last thing, it was actually one of the first things we did. We went to Rolling Loud. Super last minute. Got tickets. It was me, my wife, and my son. The three of us go to one of the nights. And
Yeah.
after
I remember you telling me about this. I
yeah,
remember this. You don't, listener, because you weren't there.
about being there for maybe less than an hour, like my son is super hyped and he's like, I'm gonna go see Xavier So Based. And so then jokingly I say too, I hope he plays Shorty Throw It Back. And my son says, he doesn't play that anymore. Man, like, okay, whatever. Fucking Xavier So Based plays Shorty Throw It Back. And I was like,
Fuck yeah, he
fucking
did.
yes. But so Gavin walks out after everything's done, and this mother, and so actually a bunch of people are walking out from that area and they're all missing a shoe. And I'm like, God damn, that's a lot of fucking missing shoes. And then Gavin comes up missing a fucking shoe. And I'm like, you don't have a shoe. And we still have, like, we've only been here an hour. Like, we still got the rest of the fucking night. And he's like, I'm good. I'll be without a shoe. I was like, you're fucking dumb. No, like, you got to have a shoe. So he wants to argue with me. Now, because I have the skills to navigate a show, I'm like, you two go stand over here. We got a little bit of time. I'm gonna find your shoe,
Yeah.
because usually shoes and they always end up on the front rail of the stage.
Yeah.
Like that's just where they end up. And so I'm navigating, I come in through the side, I'm kind of eking along the rail and I'm picking up a shoe. Now, if this fool was a size 5, I would have found him shoes all day long. And you would think a 9 is like typically more average to find, Nah, I couldn't find a 9 anywhere. And I'm this shoe, that shoe, this one. Can't find a fucking shoe for him at all, or can't find his shoe. So then finally, I'm like getting frustrated because now I'm hot. I'm getting knocked around. There was a point where like one of the DJs came out, started playing some jams. So I did like fuck around for a little bit because I was like, all right, he's going off. Hold on. I'm stop looking for these shoes right now.
Holy shit. Oh no. Yeah.
I was like, oh, hold up. Wait a minute. I was like, well, I mean, I'm here, And then I find like a fucking size 13 running shoe. And I was like, you know what? Your ass wearing a size 13 running shoe like all day. So then I went back to this giant fucking shoe. And so all day long, Gavin had like one of his shoes regular and then the other one, this big ass running shoe. And I was just like, this is what it's gonna be, man. But the rest of the like all the performances were really, really good.
Nice.
My wife got a little brave and wanted to venture further into the crowd. And that didn't work out so well. Because what happened was during Ski Mask, the Slump God, it turned into where we were 3 giant pits surrounding us. So we were like in an island. And so she's just like, I'm too old to be here. I should be fucking full of an anxiety attack. There was this one little girl like next to us. And so she's like to the left of her boyfriend, and she's like, it's fucking crazy over here. So he's like, okay, get on my other side. And he didn't realize that on the other side was the other pit. So then he throws her over there and she's like, this is worse. So then I like lift up my arms and I was like, you want to be in here? Go in here. And she's like, I do. She fucking like runs in. So it's like her and my wife fucking huddled together, like a group of like, I'm gonna say like 8 of us. Just and
Like
my wife is
we'll make it. Just be
right.
cool, y'all.
Seriously, you would have thought we were in the eye of like a fucking tornado the way they were behaving. Just, I shouldn't be here. I made a mistake. I was like, it's gonna be fine. Like, just fucking relax, man. Like, go with the vibes. And there's like another girl telling my wife, it's okay. They're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. She's trying to like coach her through. And the girl's trying to talk to me too. I'm like, I do this. Like, don't talk to me.
Like
Talk to her.
I'm protecting her. Chill out, man. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So it's just like
that's dope that somebody tried to be her Sherpa though. That's nice,
yeah.
man.
No, and that's the thing too, is that like there really weren't like a bunch of dickheads at Rolling Loud. It was a super fun show. Honestly, off the top of my head, I don't remember a lot of the acts we saw because it really was like trying to make sure my wife and my son were like good. And so there's like we saw like Sexy Red, like Xavier So Based. There were a lot of smaller acts my son wanted to see, so we like made sure he saw those. The fucking ultimate turn up is like, I've never been a huge YG fan. Like, he's got some songs that are fun, but over the last couple of years, especially with like the rise of Mustard, like he's kind of been more like prominent in it because there's a lot of Mustard beats that he does.
Inglewood, California's own YG.
Yeah. So he fucking came out and was just his set was so good. And then you realize like, oh no, he's got a lot of like bangers and a lot of classics. So every song that plays is like, oh shit, that's YG. Oh, that's YG too. So then it's just fucking, my wife danced so hard to that YG set. Man, like she was going up. She was in the zone. So it was just like it was a lot of fun. It was a really, really great time. We had a good time. So Rolling Loud was a success. That's kind of what I've been doing for like the last 2 months, and then just trying to like survive in between. So it's been good. It's been good. But like I said, car's been in the shop. What are you gonna do?
Which one? The Chevelle?
No, I'm talking about the Cadillac, fool.
Oh, bro, I thought I was also like, oh shit, no, not the. Then I was like, wait, not the Beam. The Beam is too new to be in the shop. No,
I do actually. I mean, I got to do routine maintenance on the Chevelle. Try to get a little oil change happening, and I got to rotate the tires. But other than that, we still get the cruise on the weekend. I see. But let's kind of bounce ahead a little bit to just some good to great. What's some good to great on your end?
So it starts off one way, but then it rises up.
Oh, a crescendo of sorts.
So the night before Switch 2 comes out, I get an email or a text message saying your payment has been declined. I'm like, the fuck? But this is like, it's like at middle of the night. I'm like, this is like, I literally like, it's like my phone buzzing away that maybe wake up in the middle of the night, and I go, what the fuck? And I come and I'm checking. I'm like, I see the bread right there. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And I'm not understanding this. And I'm tired, and I just ain't got no fight in me. I ain't got no teeth. I'm like, I guess I can't get the Switch. I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
But then I wake up in the morning. I'm like, let's call these people. Let's see if we can get some.
Yeah. Let's see what's this about.
Because quite literally, the math was not math.
Yeah.
So I talked to the credit card first, and they took this money out on May 30th. And that is, and it don't say hold or nothing like that. They say that's a full payment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Which means them trying to repeat this payment multiple times is not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? We see you recognize this some bullshit. I'm like, okay, I hear you. Call them back. No. And so I'm on hold, and who did I call first? I called Best Buy first or the credit company first. Anyway, I think I'm gonna call Best Buy first. End up having to call the credit card company. The credit card company is like, the lady I talked to, her name was Colleen. She was so sweet. She tries to walk me through it. She goes, I'm not trying to bullshit you or push you around. Here's what I want you to do. And I wrote it down. She goes, call Best Buy back. Say that you need to speak to this department. Explain to them that they need to call us back. Tell us to remove this hold. And then we can do it. You can't tell us to remove a hold. They can tell us to remove a hold. Go through that. She transfers me to Best Buy. Nobody ever answers the phone, and so I had to hang up, call Best Buy again, get a different lady. Mind you, it's a foreign accent, American, foreign accent, American. I'm just like, I'm getting dizzy. It's no disrespect to people with foreign accents, but it's also kind of challenging if your accent is so thick that I can't understand what you're saying. We are not communicating at that point. We're just both frustrated.
Yeah.
But the lady at Best Buy at that point, clearly Nigerian. There's a tone and a twang. I know a Nigerian accent when I know a Nigerian accent.
Yeah.
She was like, we can't do that. And I go, hey, that's what they told me to do. She goes, you know what? You want me to call them and we'll just be on the phone together? I'm like, bet. Let's go. We call the credit card company back. And the lady over there is like, I understand what you're saying. We can't do that. And I'm like, and I walk through it and I walk through it. And I'm like, these are the exact words that were told to me. And I wrote them down bar for bar and repeated them back to Colleen. So I knew, so that way I could say what was said. And she was like, no. She said, yes, say just those words. So this is me back to the credit card company, the same one Colleen works for.
Yeah.
Go, it should be your notes. It should be something, whatever. And I'm getting hyper at this point. Yeah. Never an asshole. I try to never be an asshole to people on the phone because I know what it is to be on the phone. My lady work on phones. And I finally had to say to her, and these exact words came out of my mouth. My apologies. I do not want to have to be a Karen, but I guess that's what it's going to be today. I need to speak to your supervisor.
No.
And she goes, well, I'll do that. I'll get you on the phone with them right now.
Okay.
I'll wait a little bit.
Yeah.
Supervisor gets on the phone. Her name was Mandy. Why can I tell you what Mandy's name? Because Mandy got it done literally within seconds.
Oh, she's like, oh, this X, click, done.
Exactly. Immediately clears the hold, puts the money back on the card, and says, "Okay, just run the purchase again right now." The Best Buy lady's on the phone with me this whole time, riding with me on this. I'm saying we got my Nigerian boo is on the phone with me, riding with me, and she's like, "It's not going." I say, "Hey, it's not going through." Hey, Best Buy, you still on the phone? Yeah, I am. I'm here. Let me try it. It's not going through. And I said nothing, and I pondered just for a moment. I go, Mandy, do you think it's possible that they have put a hold on my card because they have tried to charge me? Because we knew at this point they tried to charge me 9 times ahead of this.
Yeah.
And then me here, number 10 and 11 as we attempt again.
Yeah.
And she goes, you know what? Maybe let me transfer you over to fraud. Fraud hits me up. As fraud is coming on the phone, I have my phone in my hand finally, and I look and I'm like, text message right there telling me, did you make this purchase?
Yeah. I could have done that. You got to authorize. Yeah.
I could have did that myself, not even have to get on the home phone with fraud, but fraud was dope too. It's like, here we go. You good? Boom. You go. Boom. Purchase is cleared. That night I go get my Switch. Gravy.
Nice.
You know, we ping up, I'm saying? So we head on out, and I go and I hang out at Best Buy at midnight in the pre-order line, which is going one way, and the I'm coming to buy one line is this way. And I walk out with a Switch 2.
Fucking tight. Nice.
I walk out with the Pro Controller 2. Fly shit. Hold on with the back buttons. The back buttons, you know what I'm saying about that there? You know what I'm saying?
Back buttons underrated. People use them.
I have not used it yet. And then of course that is you can't really see it, but you can kind of see it. That's an SD card. That's an SD micro SD Express card because you need a specific card for the new Switch for that new shit. And it's been great. We'll talk about and what we've been playing, but that experience, of course, it's like I'm glad I had some teeth in me and showed my mettle a little bit and just went and fought the good fight because I knew something was off. Feel me? Yeah. And so I was glad I got in that bitch and fought the good fight, and then of course won the day. You know what I'm saying I got my shit, and it was dope. If that's with me to go to midnight, but she sat in the car. She's like, I don't want to stay in the line. I go, that's fine, baby. Thanks
and for being here. Really cool because you sent us some pictures of like the line and stuff, and like that had like. I think I've only done like one like late night thing, but still just even the nostalgia of like that's how we used to get fucking concert tickets too back in the day. So it's just like seeing people like showing out, hanging out, because it's like the sort of unique fun about those events is that everyone's there for the same thing. Yeah. So you know that you can talk to any of these motherfuckers about Nintendo, the Switch, games, anything in that world. You're good. Like, so it's not like you just have to sit there and be like, this is awkward. I'm just waiting in line by myself. Someone's probably going to engage you. When did you make your order? You know, like there's a lot of things. So when you sent those pictures, it's like I could already hear in my head the like the noise,
the
the
better you
chatter,
like.
the
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the energy and the excitement. And I was like, that's really fucking cool, you know?
It's a good time.
Um,
It's been a while. My last midnight release was actually the Switch One, so 8 years
mhm,
ago, and so it
yeah,
was actually very nice to get back in the scrum in the fray and have a good time. And I loved it, man. It
mhm,
really was. It really was
yeah,
something great, man. So
and
good
just
time to
lock
be
it
had there.
down. That's
Yeah,
fucking
man.
tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, my good to great really just is like it's the small things that have like a big impact. So, I had this year we had a student who had some very um like extreme situations happen to him.
Yeah.
Where it was like potential like removal from home, some arrests, and like real hard shit, and things that were didn't involve him, luckily. It was just the world around him, you
Yeah.
know? So at like the literal last day of school, he won a skateboard deck
Hell
from
yeah.
a teacher. So he was hyped up. He was like, "Look, Mr. Press, I got a skateboard deck." Da 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 da. And I was like, "Cool." He's like, "I just need to get the trucks and the wheels and all that stuff. So I don't know if my dad has money, but he said, I'm like, I just can't wait to tell him." And I was like, "Hold up." And this is where it's like realizing like you know, some shit just really ain't worth shit. So I go, listen, I have like a lot of used wheels in my house. I got trucks. I have stuff like it's the access piece. Like guy wants wheels, they just go buy them.
Yeah.
He wants new trucks, they just gonna hurt me. Um, and so I was like, I got you, man. And so he's like, yeah. And he's like, how you gonna get it to me? It's the last day of school. I was like, I have your address. I've been to your house. I will go to your house. He's like, okay. And the wheels. I realized they didn't have any screws. So I actually went to the skate shop, bought him the screws that he needs, threw them in a bag. I then called his dad the next morning and I was like, hey, um, your son got a skateboard yesterday. He's like, yeah. I said, did he mention to you that I was gonna put some stuff together? He's like, he did. He's like, but he didn't like I just thought whatever about it. Like maybe he'll get him when he returns. I said, no, I got the bag. Are you okay with me stopping by your house? I know you work all day. I I could knock on the door, hand him to your son. I can just leave him on your porch and I can call you later and tell him to open the door, whatever. And he was like, no, knock on the door. I think he'll really like it. And I was like, cool. And he's like, but you really did get the stuff? And I was like, yeah. He's like, my son's been through a lot this year. And just things like this, I think really mean a lot to him. And he's like, this is the stuff that's like, this is big. He's like, I'm not expecting you to do it. He's like, I'm not expecting you to do anything for my son at all. He's like, you've already done everything you could this year just to keep him in a good headspace. And I was like, it's the least I can do, man. I was like, your son deserves to have something positive in his life. So I'll whip on over, go to his house, drop off the bag. His little cousin's there who's like, I think I've talked about her before. She's her legs are, she's a little kindergartner, leg braces. Um, Kind of underdeveloped, and so she for the rest of her life will always have um will always be like in a on tubes for like
Yeah.
pooping and peeing. She
Damn.
has like she has no like sensation, so she'll be in diapers the rest of her life.
Wow.
But she is the most positive fucking kid I've ever met in my life. Always dressed to the fucking nines every day. The cutest like little girl I've ever seen in my life. And so she was there. So I knock on the door and she's like, Mr. Perez at my house. So then I was like, hey, I was like, how are you? She's like, why are you here? And I was like, oh, I'm here to see your cousin. I'm gonna give him some skateboard stuff. She's like, but you're at my house. And I was like, yeah. I was like, hey, are you enjoying your summer? What's the first day? But look, we were watching cartoons and I'm playing Roblox, and she was super happy. So then her cousin comes down and he's like, oh, you really came to my house? And I was like, I told you I was, man. And so I go, here's this, this is how you put them together. But I'm gonna need you. I want you to learn how to put it together. But I'm just gonna show you how it all goes. He's like, well, my dad has the tools, so when he comes home, he'll help me. And I was like, okay. I said, I got one thing for you to do this year, and that's just to learn how to ollie. Just one little boop. Doesn't have to be high, maybe an inch off the ground. But when I see you when we come back, bring the skateboard. I want to see you do it. He's like, I can't skateboard at school. I was like, I'm literally the principal. Like,
trust me, I got a little say over the matter.
Yeah, you'll be all right. Like, come on, man.
Oh shit, Trophy dropped out. I'm sure Trophy didn't actually. All right, we're back.
Yeah, that was wild.
Now you gotta flip us. Drag me back to the other side. I don't like being on this side of the screen.
All right, there we go. For me, on the right side. So right side, the tide side. Anyway, so he's like, his fucking kid starts crying. Oh. And he's just like, he just got not hard cry, but just he's teary, you know, his eyes well up.
It's love, baby. That's it, man.
Yeah. And so he was just like, thank you. Like, you know, I can't wait to put it together. I'm going to learn to skate. He was just super happy about it. And that's why I say it's like, it's the small things that have a big impact. For me, that shit's just been sitting in my garage like trash, you know. And it's not. I'm not. They were good wheels. They function, you know.
I trust you in that.
But you know what I mean. It's like I didn't give them a thought. Yeah. And so to be able to like to hand this over to this kid, who knows? Maybe he's gonna learn to skate.
I was just about to say when he becomes a pro skater, all these years down the line, he shouts you out at his award ceremony.
Yeah, you know, that's gonna be really cool. And so it's just like, and so like I said, he got like all weepy about it, and I was like, man, stop being a bitch, fucking man up. No, just kidding. I was just like, nah, you know, I wanted to make sure you have a good summer, that you have something to do, so I just want to leave this here. I got to get back to work. I'll see you later. So it was just like that was really cool. So again, small things, big things. And kind of in that same realm too, I forgot to mention this. There was a big like skateboard competition out here on the Santa Monica Pier. Now for GTA references, that's the pier that's in GTA 5.
You know, so that's some people's map of LA. And
yeah,
it's not
exactly.
Terrible either. So you know what I'm saying?
No, it's a good reference point. But so it was on the pier. So it was one of those things. I've been super burned out, like really, really burned out from work and stuff. And it was like it's actually the Friday of the Memorial Day weekend. So that weekend was a lot. And just really frustrated at work too. Where just like weird shit was happening. I was just mad at people. And so I was like, do you really want to go to this? And Gavin was like, yeah, I really do. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll take you out of school early. I'm going to take a half day. We're going to go. We're going to hang out. God, it's like the VIP section seats. So we just like chilled, watched this fucking skating was sick. There's a skater there. I think his name's Chris Jocelyn. Gavin was like super, like he likes him a lot. Like he's super into his skating. Dude ends up winning his first like competition. So Gavin was like in the room when it happened type of thing. And we just hung out, had a delicious smash burger, just like hung out on Santa Monica Pier, watched some fucking wild ass skating. It was a good time. And again, it's just like, I could have stayed at work, but at the same time, I was like, nah, you know what? I need this. And also get to hang out with my son and just fucking like do some things. So it was cool. You know,
all right, give me a quick little Lucy story. We can't just be having, you know what I'm saying, all Gavin joints, man. Give some good stuff about Lucy right quick. Just so
I'm gonna tell you, Lucy's fucking getting on my goddamn last nerve. I'm about to beat her in next week. That's about to happen to this girl. Woo, man. This fool turned 13 and is wilding. Like, you can't talk to her. Hey, Lucy, come here. What? Hey, it's time to brush your teeth. In a minute. I'm like, ooh, you know, in a minute, you're about to not have any teeth to brush. Relax. You know, so, whew, man, that's what I got to say about Lucy. But she was getting ready to do her big folklorico performance. But she's kind of getting on everyone's goddamn nerves lately. So,
you know, I watched that my mom pop out channels on YouTube. And oddly enough, they had like a sponsored McDonald's segment. Mm-hmm. And it was for Mother's Day. And they celebrated moms at that McDonald's. It was like that was the most Mexican ass McDonald's I've ever seen in my life. I was like, I don't see nothing but Mexicans in this McDonald's. Right. Wherever that McDonald's is at, it's in the community. Yeah. And they brought them out.
That McDonald's has like a bin of jalapenos.
They brought out a mariachi band at first, and they were playing these songs, and then the one woman literally just starts singing along with them. I'm like, oh, she know these, whatever they playing, she know it. And
Yeah.
then they brought out this little small folk. They were small as in literal as in there was only a few of them, but also small as in they were small
Yeah.
folkloric troop. And I was like, oh shit, the ballet folkloric goes out here,
Yeah.
man. It's so dope. So I always love that your kid does that because like it's one of the first things I learned in Spanish class in
Yeah.
like junior high was about ballet folkloric. And we went and saw some production of it here in Cleveland because that was when I was up here. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
always appreciated your kids out here on their grind for that particular thing. That's super dope that she,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, is in touch with that part of her heritage.
Yeah, and she really does value it a lot. And coincidentally, we just bought like we went to the swap meet over the weekend, and sometimes they sell vinyls and stuff like that. And there was a vinyl that's called
Sir,
Violet
it is
Folklorico.
records or it is a vinyl, but don't put that S on that bullshit.
I
Stop.
do, man. I do. Um, but it's the structure of like how her dances are too, because it's all the regions of Mexico and then songs in
Okay.
between. So she was super like she was like, oh, you got to buy this. And I was like, for sure. And I think that's where she and I do like have a connection as well, is as much as she's into like whatever's popular, musically, I think she does want to explore further. And
Yeah.
she was funny. I took her to dance like last week, and she was like, hey, can we listen to this? And I'm like, sure, put it on. No, listen to this, put it on. Or she'll say, you were listening to a song that sounded like this. And I'm like, oh, that's this song, you know? And so she said to me the other day, she was like, you ever heard of a band called Radiohead? And I was like, you're so fucking dumb. What do you mean? Like, yes. And so she's like, okay, I like this song and I like that song. And I was like, those are great songs. I was like, and then listen to this song and listen to this song. And I said, there's a big rumor that they're going to be touring. Like after so many years, they kind of already like they haven't given dates. I think there might be like a London date or something like that. And so she's like, I would really want to go. I was like, oh, I'd definitely take you for sure. So it's just like, and so it was nice to be able to like talk music in that fashion, you know, because like for me, that is definitely the
It's
my
your
love
love language.
language
I
of
know.
choice.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's just like, to be able to kind of share that with her. Whereas like Gavin puts me on to more music, Lucy is like, she catches the nuances, because she had asked me, she's like she wasn't knocking her mom at all, but she was just like, mommy likes like this type of music. And I was like, yeah, I go, your mom enjoys music for the vibe and the energy. I was like, I listen to music, I go, because I want to live in the sound. And I was like, so sometimes that's gonna be an aggressive sound. It's gonna be, softer, it's gonna be darker, it's gonna be lighter, whatever it is. I go, but I really see myself in the sound, not like absorbing the sound. And she was like, yeah, she's like, I can kind of, she's like, I understand what you're saying. She's like, it's just listening to it in a different way. And I was like, yeah. And then when I'm in there, I'm like listening, like either focusing on the drums or the bass or just a weird sound coming along the way. Like I really dissect it. And she's like, sometimes I do that too. So, just, I think her getting more comfortable with like, you know, sharing what she's interested in. So that was really nice. That was a
Very good.
positive.
All right. Just
Yeah.
I don't want her being left out on the stroll here, my nigga.
I don't know, man. She got me hot though. She got me hot.
That's what it is. This is what it is to be a parent, my boy.
Man, you know what, man? I'm about. You know what else got me hot too? Shit. Hold up. Wait up. Before I forget. What's up with people putting fucking like ice cream and like liquidous items in cardboard boxes? That shit's got me fucking mad. I'm talking to you, goddamn McDonald's fucking me up with some fucking McFlurries in your Sundays.
The Flurries in that cup is weird.
It's super weird. It fucking leaks. And then also like when places use like literal cardboard that's not the waxed, or it's like the recycled cardboard,
Yeah.
like, have you ever tasted cardboard? That shit is gross. And so now when you have foods that are wet and now absorbing the material, it's like, I love this fucking chocolate cardboard sundae. Man, eat my dick all the way. I fucking hate you. Stop doing that. The only way you can make it worse is by putting some fucking whole ass pickled onions on top of it. Got me so goddamn mad. Fucking, we went to Rite Aid the other day. RIP to Rite Aids. They're about to close down, which is gonna make it harder to get. Where gonna be harder to get that thrifty ice cream. We're like, where's my chocolate malted crunch? Where's my double brownie? Not no mo. Can't do it. But so Rite Aid, being a little bitch. Now you can't even get the ice cream's already closed. Says out of order. I know it's not. I know you just don't want to hit the switch. So we go across the street to McDonald's, and I was like, you know what, fine. Because Lucy was like, I want to go to Rite Aid get ice cream. I was like, sure, okay, let's go. Then it was close, so we went across the street to McDonald's, and Gavin and Lucy got McFlurries, and I was like, well, this is already some shrinkflation shit over here. I can tell. And then I was like, I'm gonna go for the chocolate sundae. And then when it was in the cardboard cup, I was just like, oh, this is fucking gross. Like, ugh, I hate you. I understand we're trying to save the world with plastics and shit, but we can already get the plastic straws back that are like biodegradable. Do that shit with the fucking ice cream too. Do not give me that shit in cardboard. I will come to your house. I will pee on your lawn. You got me fucked up.
I need you to just going forward, especially if you're just ordering it there and not in the app. Just be like, hey man, put that in a small cup. Don't put it in that paper shit. For real. Let a fool know.
What? I'm gonna have to because that really got me hot. And there was another place I went to that like served something in a cardboard, and like my whole meal just tasted like fucking wet cardboard. And I was just like, this, fucking. Now the flavor's all ruined. Now the fucking cardboard taste is stuck in my mouth. I'm mad, man. Stop that shit. Don't do it anymore.
Leave the damn trees be. Fuck.
Right, exactly. Like, let me have this for just this one moment, Respect. So, got me mad. Got me fucking hot. I'm going to keep it moving. What you playing, T? Talk to me about that sweet Switch.
So of course I'm playing Switch 2 Jones, and I downloaded Fortnite on it, messed around with that. Fortnite on the Switch 2 looks considerably better than Fortnite on the OG Switch, but not as good as Fortnite on Xbox Series X. So it's a nice little medium. The fact they added mouse controls this past weekend, pretty fucking dope. Can you get the clicking some heads? I have not used the mouse controls on the Switch yet because I haven't played anything that requires it. But the fact that I could get the clicking heads mouse style, pretty dope. Won't do it. But if I might try it out just one good time to be if let's see if it's any better, any better or any worse off at it. Because I am a Nintendo Switch Online member, whatever Ultimate Edition, whatever the hell they call it, top tier shit. They gave you the Switch 2 upgrades, Switch 2 Edition upgrades for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. So I was like, I'm about to throw Breath of the Wild in here. I ain't played Breath of the Wild since I beat Breath of the Wild. An appropriate 60 frames per second, 4K, textures looking better, smoother. Breath of the Wild, I almost started playing Breath of the Wild. I had to stop myself.
Yeah, the side-by-sides have been real nice. Real nice.
I literally had to just like, no, because you can't play this because you need to play these Switch games. So, of course, I got Fast Fusion. The people who made Fast RMX, which was a Switch title, what you call it? What do you fucking call it when this system first comes out?
Launch title?
Release a launch title. Thank you, sir. It was not happening for your boy. I'm old. Fast RMX was a Switch launch title. They also did a launch title for, I believe, the DS and 3DS. This company is called Shinen, and they always make these things that it's like they have magic with Nintendo systems where they like. So this game, full 4K 60 if you want to, if you play it in quality mode. They have a performance mode that is 120 frames of 1080p. Then they have this middle mode that's like 1440p at 60 frames per second. If you want to, try this stuff out, but it looks and plays amazing. It's a very cool Wipeout F-Zero style game.
Oh, it's fucking tight.
Game. Yeah, it is fun, and I $15, highly recommend. I did buy. I have not played that Switch Welcome Tour that everybody seems to want to be mad about. And I'm just not the dude who will be mad about it.
Yeah,
it's like you can be whatever. Like I ain't trying to pay $10 for what should have been free or this, that, and the third. Like that's what people's argument is. But you could also just shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
because shut the fuck up is free.
And that really is true because like you're not. It's not like the Switch is like, well, if you don't play this game, it's locked. Like that's not the case.
Yeah.
Just don't play it. It's just like any other game, be it an Xbox, PlayStation game. You don't want to play it? Guess what? You do not have to play it.
I use Best Buy points for it. So I didn't actually pay any. I didn't pay any more money for it. You know what I'm saying? Than the money I already had. So you know what I'm saying? It cost me nothing. Pay me no mind. So I hadn't played it yet, but I do got to download. And of course, I've been going wild on Mario Kart World, which I know people are like, I don't know if it's worth $80. And again, I just have to be like, it's not worth $80 to you, but it's worth $80 to
Mhm.
me and the rest of us who
Yeah.
bought it for $80. So again, pay me no mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm telling you already, it's dope. And
Yeah.
I was getting not frustrated because it's that good frustration of a Nintendo game. So I want a 3-star, 3-star
Yeah,
go
yeah,
with
yeah,
that
yeah.
bad boy.
Mhm.
And what that requires is first every time. There is no coming in, first most of the time and then third,
Yeah.
because that means you're
Mhm.
not going 3-star. And so today I was just
Yeah,
really
it's not
focused on,
averages. It's
I was really
wins.
really focused on making sure I hit first on all these different courses and spend having a good time doing it. Man, it's a great game, bro. Your drift is a little different.
Mhm.
Your when you push the button to get your boost, it's just a little different. But it's gorgeous. It's 4K 60 game. I'm saying it's beautiful. The Switch 2 has HDR, so if you got a TV that supports HDR, you go in there and tweak things. It's a good time to be had there, man. You should be out here playing some Mario Kart World if you have access to it because it's dope.
I'm looking forward to seeing one like a demo station or something because I really
Yeah.
want to like get it in my hands and actually see because there's just like too much like I guess like ridiculous negativity, where it's like
It almost feel like just hating for hating's sake at this point because they like the Nintendo.
exactly.
It's like the Switch. It's like the Kansas City Chiefs again, all over again. Kansas City Chiefs were winning and people love them. Then they were winning and people were like, I hate you now. Nintendo was losing,
Yeah.
started winning, and now people decided I hate them. And it's like,
Yeah.
why is your energy like that? Why can't we be supportive of people, of individuals, corporation, I guess in this case, doing well? That
Yeah.
means they've done what they're supposed to do
Yeah.
to do well. It's crazy.
And all the stuff I find really like ticky tack because it's like I still feel that the jump from like the PS4 to the PS5 it still isn't worth a damn. Like there's some stuff that like is minor improvements, but it's like that was a lot of money to just do in my opinion, a half step, which
I
then the
agree.
pro is just another half step. Like
Yeah, yeah,
or I would even call them quarter steps because I don't think we're still a full step ahead to be like, yeah, fuck, this is a big jump.
yeah.
Maybe 4 to 6 is gonna look that way, but this one is like, nah, it's not that. But I think it's just hating for hating's sake, and it's like, tell me it's bricked from the get go. Tell me the network doesn't work because all I'm hearing is like ticky tack shit. You know,
They could brick your console. Well, so can Xbox and so can PlayStation, and they've been
yeah,
able to do that for a
hmm,
couple of generations now. So that's not
yeah,
new. So why does
yeah.
it bother you that Nintendo can do it?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, it's just stuff that's, like it's real, real dumb. Um, it's been a long time, like, in all of the gaming consoles that we've had an amazing, like, robust, um, launch like, a series of launch titles, so it's
Yeah,
like, okay. Also, they've been clear for months. This is what's coming out, so you know what you could do? Be like me. I'm not buying them right now,
yeah.
because you know when I wanna get it? When there's a Metroid Prime bundle. That's what I'm gonna go for. That's the one I want.
Okay. I need you to know though that this shit right here though, I'll let you to do it backwards is real fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, did hear about that. Yeah. Now my only worry I have is, and I'm curious to see how things come along, is just the linkage. Like, will that
so, so that's just a magnet in there that
yeah,
has a magnet here. That pin is what people be like, oh no, man, that pin. I'm like, I don't know, bro. We've been
yeah,
using pin connectors in technology for a very long time. That bad boy,
yeah.
like nothing. And I'm over
And
here.
that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying, I really wanna get it in my hands. One, to see because like, I love the OLED one. It's super bright, it's beautiful. I just wanna see how it fits in my hands.
yeah. It
Yeah.
is. Oddly enough, I told you, it kind of fits my big old mitts pretty well.
Yeah.
I don't play handheld.
Yeah. You see, and I primarily use the Switch as handheld.
Yeah.
Also, I need to address something real quick. Um, Sean Washington just messaged me. He said that when I'm live, I need to stay back up off the camera with my old ass. What I'm gonna say to Sean is a big fuck you straight up to your face. I'll be this close. I'll be this far back. I'll do whatever I want. So that's
as
just gonna
one
be me.
as one what necessary wants to. The controller, a
Hmm?
little slick in its feel,
Okay.
not texture. And some people were complaining about, not complaining. They were like, I don't know if I can be used to that because what if it slips out my hands? And I'm just like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. It's,
Like,
like if it's slipping out of your hand, you're at a Diddy party, man. You got baby oil. Like just
but I like that the logo is inset in there.
mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I like the button placement of all these little buttons, and it works. Uh, the fact that I can easily at this point I can relatively easily bounce back between controllers, like between Switch,
Yeah.
Xbox, and PlayStation without much brain issue,
Yeah.
means I've been playing games for a very long time. It's
Yeah.
just what it comes down to.
Yeah. You don't feel it at all. It's just like, okay.
I have not taken advantage of the GL buttons yet because I don't know what I would use it for. What do you use back paddles for, Chelsea? Man, do you
Well,
have any
I use
particular
them a
experience in
lot
that?
when I had for first person shooters primarily.
Mhm.
And then for racing, that's where I would switch my gas and brake.
Is that where I want my gas and brake? Because cart is just it's A, you know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm just doing that.
But if I did
Hmm.
like what did I map it on? I had something on like PS4 because that's when it was the back button adapter, and then I mapped it to that. Just change whatever X was to, and then I was just like, fucking loved it.
Hmm.
So, but for shooters, that's where I change my like my shoot and my aim down sight, and then I change where my like throw grenades and stuff,
Yeah.
and significantly better for me.
Huh. I'm trying to figure out what I would use these for. As I've yet to find a use case for them.
Yeah,
These sticks are so good. Like whatever
yeah,
they did to them is very, very different. It has a
nice.
very, very different feel to it and a very different throw. And I got to respect. I like those circle gates, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to whatever. They work real well. So I'm impressed. I'm very impressed by it, man.
Have we received a window for Prime yet, or for Metroid?
End of the year.
End of the year.
That's all
Okay.
they seem to be pointing at. And I'll be real with you because Nintendo's wild this way. I wouldn't doubt that it was just a December release
Hmm. Yeah.
because Pokemon seems to be, I believe, October.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. Well, I guess September, I guess, is a possible open window. But I mean, I don't know. We got Donkey Kong in July. August is whatever. Tokyo Game Show is in September. So we'll see. We'll see what
Yeah.
plays out. Which been work? Which been
Yeah.
on the sticks on?
That's see. I've okay. So I've been like I said, you just with being like all over the place and super busy. Um, yeah. Mike Fowler was talking about Destiny one day, like in our chat, and I was like,
I
you know what?
recall. Yeah.
I've actually been missing Destiny. I really do like the story, like how it functions,
Yeah.
and just the shooting gameplay is like fantastic.
Yeah.
So I was gonna buy Final Shape, and then I realized I still had whatever was it Lightfall that I
Yeah.
hadn't finished yet. So that I've been chipping away at that. And then this is where like Call of Duty really comes into play for me because I can play a few matches, 2, 3, 20 minutes, I'm in, I'm out, and I
Yeah.
kind of get some game time in. So just been like kind of been bouncing between those two. Like if I get a good 30, 45 minutes in, then I'm going to play Destiny. If I know I'm just going to sit on the couch for a minute until someone needs me for, 15, 20 minutes, then I'll do a little bit of Call of Duty. So I've kind of been just hitting both of those, but not a lot of gaming lately.
That's all right.
My
Understand.
goal for the summer is to, I want to play that Indiana Jones. Like that's the main one I want to play.
It's so good that they just announced the DLC for it over at SGF these last couple of
Oh,
days.
nice.
So you get some more. You get some Indiana Jones and some more Indiana Jones on top of that. The Valley of the Giants or something to that effect, I believe is what it's
Yeah.
called.
And I think
I
right
really,
now during like whatever PlayStation was it Days of Play or whatever it is,
yeah.
it's
Oh
like
yeah, go on.
50 bucks or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I think I might pick that up. And that'll, like I said, that'll be my summer game to play.
If you like that machine games slash
I do.
arcane style of immersive sim kind of situation, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hmm.
With a layer of Indiana Jones adventure type shit on top of it, bruh, great time to be had there. Really enjoyed
I'm
Indy,
with
man.
it. I'm with
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
What have you been watching like TV wise?
Oh yeah, because we've been going for a stretch. Okay.
Yeah.
Second season of Andor. No joke, perfect television.
Mhm.
Some of the finest Star Wars production that we had in forever. So highly recommend you check out Andor season 2 if you have not. Out of the blue, I saw somebody, this lady who I've been watching her do recaps of
Mhm.
Ted Lasso because I love people watching Ted Lasso for the first time.
Yeah.
She watched. She's like, I watched the Burn Notice pilot because I hadn't seen this in years. And I was like,
Yeah,
yo,
you have Bird Notice in the notes, and
I
I
used
was
to
like,
love Burn Notice, but I had cable sometimes. I didn't have cable sometimes, so I didn't watch Burn Notice all the
mhm.
time. And I was like, fuck it, let me watch Burn Notice. I have watched like 3 seasons of Burn Notice over the last couple of weeks. Now
What's the
I
I don't remember it very well. What's the sort of concept?
Burn Notice is this guy, is about this guy, Michael, who's a spy who gets burned. And basically that
Okay.
means they fire him for without recourse.
Yeah.
So he is trying to figure out who burned him and why and so forth and so on. But it's basically just a mystery of the week, back to PI type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay.
And of course, with his funny side characters, his mom, his friend Sam, and his girlfriend Fiona, and just mystery of the week type bullshit. And they help they help people. So Robin Hood type shit. They help
Okay.
somebody who got caught up in some nonsense or this, that, and the third. And what's fun is like they'll bring back characters because during the first season there was this drug dealer who was fucking around near Michael's house that he had to take care of named Sugar. And then like 2 seasons later, Sugar comes to Michael looking for help because somebody's fucking with his cousin. And it's like, oh, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like that kind of nonsense. And it's just been a fun watch. Just
Now,
fun TV. I'm saying throw it on and while I'm at
is
work
it
or throw it on while I just got some time and just kick it.
is it more drama or is it like dramedy?
No, it's action. It's
It's complete
explosions.
action.
It's like MacGyver and a detective situation. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And he has constant like VO. So I'm saying between segments. When you're a
Yeah.
spy, you have to know that this shit right here could go down like this. So do
Yeah.
this shit, and it's just a delight. Just a fun little watch. Highly recommend if it's on Hulu. So you know what I'm saying. It's easy to get
Yeah.
a hold of at this point. Nothing to it. I'm telling
Did
you right now.
you did you ever watch Killing Eve?
No, I don't know Keelan. I'm aware of Killing Eve, but I have never watched Killing Eve.
Okay, so it's kind of hearing what you're saying here. You should watch Killing Eve.
Okay.
That fucking show is so good. Some twists in there. What's is that? What's her name? Sandra Oh, I think that's her name.
Yeah, yeah.
Just the way the story develops and like comes together. It's got the more action. They're like spies and shit, some plot twists and whatnot. I if you the way you're describing Burn Notice, I think you'll really love Killing Eve.
Do you know where I can watch that at?
Ah, shit, I don't. I think we watched it on Hulu.
Okay, I'll put it
Yeah,
down.
I think it's a Hulu show.
So oddly enough, I have been working on a list of
Mm,
shows I need to watch,
nice.
and currently on that show is Uncle on Amazon Prime,
Mhm,
Government Cheese on Apple TV, Extraordinary on Hulu, Queen's Gambit on Netflix, Burn Notice, and Killing Eve now
mhm.
has been added to the list. So it's like
Queen's
there's some
Gambit
stuff.
was really, really good.
I saw
Super into it.
so oddly enough, like 3 or 4 of those is shit I've seen. I've seen TikTok has a habit of like people just cutting some TV shows and playing you a little bit of them.
Yeah.
I'd be like, huh, that looked
That's
interesting.
that's funny you say that because for me, it's been, clips of, like, Modern Family lately, and I stopped watching Modern Family a long time not because I hated it, just started watching other shit,
Yeah.
and so there's, like the kids are much big they're fucking whole ass adults, so then the other day was, like, on just random ass, and I was like started watching some Modern Family, I was like, "This show's actually real funny." Like, it's actually really well done.
Boxing, I was talking about it, and you know what it is. So, of course, I've been watching The Last of Us. Last of Us
Mhm.
was missing MIA for 2 years,
Yeah.
and they came back. They gave us 7 episodes, left on the cliffhanger, and it won't be back for 2 years.
Yeah.
I feel, and Box and my man Dan was pointing this out. He goes, "There's a reason we keep going back to old stuff, old shows, because
Mhm.
they are complete stories. We know they finished them.
Yes.
It's 20 some odd episodes of TV that they managed to make every year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Without having to take 2 years to do whatever they had to do behind the
Yeah.
scenes. And I hate the way TV is produced now because
Yeah.
we get it every 2 years. We get 7, 8, 9, 10 at the maximum
Yeah.
episodes. And then we'll
Stranger
see you.
Things, these kids are about to be 45 years old.
Yeah. And that doesn't come back till December of this year. And it's been
Yeah.
gone for years.
Yeah.
I
No,
hate
but
it. I
that's
hate
I fully agree with you because like let's talk about like Last of Us real quick. Like that show, I think the shows are really well done. And I
yeah.
think like for people who do critique it, I think they're wanting the show to be the game and not really realizing they're two different things. Like I remember when the Harry Potter movies came out,
Yeah.
and whoever directed Prisoner of Azkaban um, hadn't done like the other ones, and he was like, "You got to understand, this is my interpretation of the story,
Yeah.
and what you create in your mind, you might think someone's taller, someone's shorter, someone has a different voice, but that's your interpretation of
Yeah.
the story. So you have to allow me to create this environment in how I see it. It's not to be disrespectful to the source material or to even what you see in your head. Just know this is an interpretation." And
Yeah.
so that really, like, when I heard that person say that, I was like, okay, so it really shift my perspective on how I watch adaptations,
Yeah.
one way or the other.
Exactly.
Like, oh,
Exactly.
this is
Exactly.
this guy's interpretation of this.
Now,
Um,
what's funny about that is that I love Silo because it's so much like the books.
uh-huh.
And I have been kind of avoiding Murderbot because I'm like, man, if they fuck this up, I'm gonna be real upset.
Hmm.
But I also want to watch it because I love Murderbot as a series of books. Now, before I push in on the Prisoner of Azkaban, I think it's Alfonso Cuarón. Now let's
Uh-huh.
enter and see who the director is.
I remember it being someone
Alfonso
Latin.
Cuarón, your boy
Yeah.
knew some things. So
See, that
yeah,
one I remember it being someone different and was like more Latin sounding. So then,
yeah.
but I remember that breakdown.
God, hell of
Now,
a director. Children of
Last
Men.
Last of
Y
Us,
tu Mama Tambien, Gravity,
yeah,
just in case you didn't know.
has me like super hot though, because they're like, oh, the next couple seasons will just focus on game 2, and it's like, it doesn't need to be a couple of seasons. Like, a season should not be 7 fucking episodes.
Correct.
That's not a season. That's half a season. Like, if
Yeah.
that. Take a little hiatus over the summer, come right back. I'm not saying every season has to be like fucking 24, 32 episodes.
Yeah.
Give me 12.
Yes.
Like, I want that. So give me a complete story.
Just the happy middle. I don't want to go back to 25 episodes a season. That shit
Yeah.
is hard. I have not finished Abbott Elementary because of how many episodes
Mhm.
it is. And I know people are like, it's only this long. Like, nah, bro, it's still a lot.
Yeah.
But 7 is horseshit. It just is. There's
Yeah.
no way you should have slid us 7 episodes and then left for 2 years. I might not be here in 2 years.
We need time to develop, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no. You're giving me bullshit because I have been watching TV for damn near 50 years. And let me tell you, we were getting full fucking seasons of culturally impacting, like, people still talk about Cheers and The Office and MASH and fucking Bonanza. Like, we're still talking about Three's Company. Like, these things exist. So to be like, well, if we wanted to do the material right, no, nuh-uh.
You
I
cheap it
don't
out. You
I
don't want
don't understand.
they don't want to hire teams of writers. So there's only 3 writers for this show, and they of
Yeah.
course have to take their time and put it together. It's like, no. TV
Mhm.
had an ebb and a flow to it, and you fucked it up by trying to be cheap and make your shareholders more money. Quit
Yeah.
fucking up the game.
Because, like, the way that it's also being, like, structured is like, wait a minute. So you blew through fucking game 1, which really could have allowed for more of the buzzword world building, creating an environment. We could have lived in there for a lot. We could be living there this season still,
Yeah.
you know? And then now we're going into game 2, which I didn't have the same hate that a lot of people do, but
Same.
the story's convoluted.
Yes.
It's like, why are we in Santa Barbara? Like, what the like, you don't have GPS, but you're just finding people? Cool. Sure. So it's just like, it doesn't need to be fucking 2-3 seasons of game 2. If anything, then game 1's 2, game 2 is 2, and we wrap it up there. But just the way they're breaking it out, I'm like, that part does have me bothered. As far as the characters go, I think everyone's doing an amazing job of their acting.
It's so well
Um,
acted.
Even with, like, the hubbub of like, oh, this girl shouldn't have been Abby. They toned her down. She's still fucking killing it. She's still doing a great job. Um, I'm not really mad at anybody. Like, the acting is pretty solid.
Yeah.
But there's just been, I think, just it's kind of like the Switch. It's just like superficial hate. You know, it's like, well, wah, it should have been this. And on day 3, it's like, uh, I'm actually more concerned that we're not getting more episodes sooner. Like,
Yeah.
that's actually my problem. You're upset that we're on day 3, not day 4. Well, the problem is we should still be in game 1, not game 2. Like, the structure's
Facts.
off. So it's like, I don't know, just sort of like it just like I don't fucking get it. Like, it doesn't make
In
sense.
this
Then just give
in
me a
th-
movie.
in this season where it has hit it out of the park. But where
Yeah.
it is missed so wide. You're like, what the fuck is you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why I know that you want. I mean, you wish that you could have had that part where Ellie washed up on Scar Island in the
Yeah.
game. They talk about it,
Yeah.
but you didn't. So don't force it over here.
Yeah.
Because it did just like it didn't work in the game. It doesn't work in the show.
Yeah. That really was like an odd, like, okay, you just wanted to be weird for a minute, and
I
then
know that I get it.
and then
There
she
were
like, but then she just like casually got back on the boat where it was like, this impedes.
nothing.
I'm hungry for minutes of this show
Yeah,
because the following scene was intense,
yeah,
fucking intense. You know what? Those 3 minutes you took for this fucking fool to get on the island, add those to the next scene because
yes,
I didn't need this fucking weirdo portion over here. Or you're gonna need to flesh that island out a lot further.
yes.
Like, it's got to go one way or the other, and so that part is just, I don't know. It's got me bothered. I think it just needs to be developed a little bit further.
Yeah.
Um, you got the Matrix on here.
So again, like I said, I love watching people discover things. Like I love people watching, seeing people discover Ted Lasso. But I've seen a
Mhm.
lot lately is people seem to just for the first time discover the Matrix. And I just like, that's crazy to me that y'all
Yeah,
hadn't seen the Matrix. But it also made me go back and rewatch the Matrix. And the Matrix in 4K is just a sight to behold. If you do not own the Matrix on 4K Blu-ray and or just, you know what I'm saying, digital 4K, you should. Because they took the time to make that movie glisten in 4K, and it
mhm,
sounds good. It's still reference. It's still the reference material you used if you were going to show off your equipment. So I went back and rewatched The Matrix the other day, actually before I went out of town, and it was well worth the rewatch. That movie still holds up. It is still the test of time. I feel like the VFX as well as the puppetry and all that stuff, it
yeah,
works so well. And it's funny again watching kids and or adults who hadn't or who never watched this movie before on YouTube, and they're like, "Well, the graphics are pretty good." You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, some of that is graphics, some of that was puppeteering,
yeah,
and
hmm,
it's really well done and really high quality material. And so it just was really dope to go back to that. Still a great story. I am one of those people who really love the entirety of the Matrix, with the exception of that most recent HBO Max movie that they forced them to make.
yeah,
Because they were basically like, if you don't make it, if you don't make it, we will make it without you. And they were like, fine.
yeah. We'll make it.
But I did everything that for the second set of Matrix movies. I watched the Animatrix. I played Enter the Matrix, the video game. I did all
Mhm.
the cross media stuff that was required of you to get to get and fully understand the story. And people be like, I shouldn't have to do all that to fully understand the story. You're right. I'm not arguing
Mhm.
that you're not. But if you did do that, you had a richer experience with
Yeah,
that media. And
because
I
some
did.
people really love the immersion.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, it's that same concept of, you don't want to, cool, don't. That's fine. And if you really want to be fully immersed, because I remember they also designed it to be like, it's not like it breaks the story or
Yeah.
damages it if you don't have all the pieces. It just gives you more like, I know why that motherfucker's mad. I know why he's mad,
Mhm.
because you saw it over here. But he could still be mad, and you still would understand he's mad because so and so fucking died or did him dirty, you
Yeah.
know?
Exactly. So again, it's been fun watching people discover the Matrix, and then me just going back and I'm like, hell yeah, Matrix. So that's what
Yeah.
that has been, man. That's why I was on that.
Nice. Yeah, for me, been watching um Seth Rogen has a show on HBO Max called The Studio.
I know,
Um
I know I need to watch it, but do I need
if
to watch it?
Okay, so I'll ask you this. I actually really enjoy it. I like it a lot. Did you like Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Nah, but I never watched it, so I don't know. I can love
Okay.
Curb, but I never checked out Curb.
Okay, cuz it's almost like if Curb Your Enthusiasm was about making a movie, you know?
Okay.
So it's just anything that could go wrong, will go wrong. Like
Mhm.
that's the type of thing. And it's like, he's becoming like a studio executive, and it's like things aren't working. He doesn't have the sort of chops for it yet.
Okay.
He wants to make art pieces, and they want to make the big movie that they're making in this show is Kool-Aid, the movie. And so because it's all, like it's like when they made Battleship and stuff, it's like there's no story, and then they realized they could do whatever the fuck they want. And whereas he wants to make art pieces and
Yeah.
think pieces, and they're like, yeah, we don't make those. We make Explosion, the movie. So it's his adventures of going through that. It's a lot of fun. I really, really like it. But if you really like Curb Your Enthusiasm, same concept, just reskinned in a
Okay.
sense.
Okay.
So it's a fun watch. I really, really liked it. And then The Last of Us, watch that. Um, I know there's a bunch of other shit we've been watching too, but it's kind of just been like Hacks. This season of Hacks was really good. Um, I'm trying to think of whatever else has been on. It's kind of just been like a little hit and miss though, trying to pick up here and there on certain things. Um, and then I do want to talk about Sinners. That fucking movie. My God. Like it just I know there's the argument of, is it a horror movie? Is it not a horror movie? And it's like, you know, it's just a good movie, regardless of genre. The
Yeah.
way that the story's told, just the visual elements of it all, everyone acted their fucking asses off in this movie. Everything makes sense in a way that's like, yeah, cool. Like I fucking understand it. And just all the things that, like, I know Delvin just bought it on Vudu, so I'll be watching it again. But there was so much that after I watched it, I was like, wait, but what about this? Or what about that? I don't know. What'd you think of it? Give me your take.
I absolutely love Sinners. It was such an experience. I was so glad I saw it in the theater. A follower hit us up with like Sinners a 10 out of 10, y'all. And I was like, it's not that I don't take Mike's reviews or criticism seriously, but
Mm,
I take it even all the more serious when it's in that particular genre, because he
mhm.
don't that shit. That is Mike's genre of film. And if he say that shit a 10 out of 10, then motherfucker, you know it is.
Yeah.
And so we went to go see that in the theater, and my theater has like Dolby Atmos, and it's like it's a big screen format, but it wasn't the full IMAX situation, which I would have loved to have seen. But it's such a dope movie to go through and watch Ryan Coogler explain the film formatting and why he went with it and so forth and so on was dope. To just enjoy that experience and the movie he made, to learn about the Chinese immigrants who were in the South, who lived in these two worlds, you know what I'm saying, of racism on one side, and
Yeah.
and and helping out black people as best they can on the other side. And then you go watch, because all that was based on a documentary that I didn't know existed. And you see these people who are just, they're Chinese people, but they sound country as all get out, and it's like, man, that's not what you ever expect to come out of somebody's mouth. But that shit
Yeah.
was so dope to see and experience, and just a great movie, great craft. They crafted something so great, a hell of a story. And then, of course, then you start getting all the breakdowns of like, this what this means, and that's what this means. I love it.
Yeah.
Like, it's why I love watching people discover that last one. People discover the Matrix and stuff like that there, because
Yeah.
I love hearing people discover and develop insight into what's going on in the background. I love hearing about, oh my gosh, she was this and that, and
Yeah.
oh, when this part happened, I was like, oh yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Just all of that on top of all that, just fun.
Yeah.
Just a
Yeah. Just
fun.
fun. I also really loved Ryan Coogler's like press tour on this. Like
Mhm.
the way he just handled it all was just like, I mean, one, he was going on everything, but just he just comes off as like, I just love making shit. Like he was on, I saw a podcast clip where he was talking about what were some of his inspirations and things he draws from. And he was like, he told the guy, he's like, hey, he's like, you know what I really love? I fucking love Darkwing Duck. Like I really love Darkwing Duck. He's like, and the villain on Darkwing Duck, what color are his eyes? And so then the guy that's podcasting goes, oh fuck. He's all, the vampires and they got the same eyes. He's like, yeah, yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. And I was
Well,
like, fucking Darkwing Duck is like
I know.
connected.
So
What are you
so which
talking about?
which which is why there's this dude who showed up on TikTok, who's like, Brian Coogler we know that you were taking influence from Dust Till Dawn. You should
Mm.
give Robert Rodriguez his props and blah 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 and so forth and so
Yeah.
on, as if Ryan Coogler had not already cited From
Mhm.
Dust Till Dawn. And what
Yeah.
about why no Mexicans in this movie? And it's like, well, Mexicans weren't in that part of the South during this time period. What the fuck are you talking about? And it's
Yeah.
like this dude wanted things that can't happen,
Mhm.
and it was just like, and people were like lighting him up on TikTok about it. It's like, you are on one, bro.
Yeah.
Ryan Coogler has said that Dust Till Dawn inspired him. The reason Mexicans aren't in this movie right now is because Mexicans weren't in that part of the Americas at
Yeah.
that point in time. Mexico was going through some other shit, so they was
Yeah.
over there handling business this way, and people had been removed from the country for whatever reason. Again, because of course,
Yeah.
we relive that shit all the goddamn time in this country, and it's
Yeah,
just
because
like,
he brought up like how there was like the tamale shop, and so people were like,
yeah,
because I knew about like the Asian community, like that part. I was
where I
where
didn't. That's dope that you knew it. I not here. I
yeah,
am not knowing, but I know
and
about
so
tamales.
yeah, and so then the tamale piece was in there, and I was like, oh shit, they were in the area. But then he talked about in an interview like how there was basically like the attempt to establish like a Latin community, it
Yeah.
just didn't hold. And then it goes into what you're saying because there were other political issues in play that
Mhm.
it was like it still was present, but not significant. Not to say that the community was insignificant. It's
Correct.
just this was greater.
It was just
Just so
like,
much shit.
it felt just like this Switch thing. It felt
Mhm,
like it was doing so well that somebody had to come along.
mhm.
And I know hate just, it just seems like I'm calling people haters, but
Yeah,
that's the behavior they're putting forth. It just
yeah,
feel like hate. It
yeah,
felt like this movie was doing dope. People were loving it. Everybody was loving it, like across the board. And so
yeah,
this guy just decided, I got to show up and be the contrarian. I have to
yeah,
be the I'm saying whatever. And it's like, or or
yeah,
or you could just shut the fuck up,
yeah. And
which is
that's the
always
sort
on
of
offer.
yeah, always. And so that's always a card on the table. Feel free. You could take it. You could leave it. Just saying. And that's where like it's the Yelp of everything, you know? More negative reviews than positive reviews because people want to hear bullshit and not hear like this is great. And that movie is fucking great.
But
I
you know
mean,
what?
even
And
even even
they
even
did.
it was
Yeah,
even when
people
it
were.
was getting the hate for box office and it was like, okay, not very many screens, fucking still like if we're talking ratio, it's ripping.
It was it that so you, if you God dang, here we go. So
Yeah.
you take Sinners and the varieties pieces about why it's not really making
Yeah.
money and why it's really on some bullshit, and then it turns out all that was all some bullshit. And
Mhm.
then you flip it to this weekend's French Open and Tennis Magazine writing these shitty ass movies about why Coco Golf really didn't win like she
Yeah.
won, even though she won.
Yeah, she won. Yeah.
Should be it, right? But
Period.
no, it wasn't that. It wasn't this. It was like,
Mm.
and it's just constantly like that
Yeah.
when it comes to people of
Technically, if
color.
you use the rules from 1974, it's like, no, no, no.
We are consistently held to different standards
Yeah.
and made to be. No, you didn't do it this way. You should have.
Mhm.
Maybe you should have considered doing it this way. And it's like,
No.
baby,
Yeah. And the shit for clicks is just like, just fucking stop, man. But Sinners really, like everyone I've spoken to that I've told, like, go see this, like, make it happen. Fucking just like,
it's like one of
it
those
just,
transformative pieces of cinema, pieces of art
yeah.
where you're like, I am different having now seen this.
Yeah. No, definitely. Definitely. And then just the use of like the sort of just the art of it all from like the way the characters move to like the music and the dance to even in the end like when they show up and they're in their fucking like Coogee and whatnot, you know, where I was just like, because I think that's also the I learned a new term recently. I believe I could be pronouncing it wrong, but it's like I believe it's a Hebrew term or Yiddish
Okay,
term called
okay,
noctis.
okay.
And so it's like being reflective like upon your life, but knowing that your life is gonna end. That you know you're more towards the tail end of life. Where not to put it on you, but this is where we are, you
Yeah,
know?
for sure.
And so you start to remember things and kind of you're being nostalgic, but still going like, damn, but that was a long time ago, you know? And so when they came in with the fucking high top fade and like that whole look and you know, just like straight out of like Fresh Prince, Do the Right Thing era and vibes. And I was like, damn, like I was there. Like
Yeah.
when it wasn't a costume, like when people were dressing like this. And so it hit that level of nostalgia too, where it's like we are that generation. We are the generation making these movies, or what they're making the movies for, and how much like stuff we've seen along the way. So it's like, yeah, I learned about these things when I was really young, pre-internet, where it was like I was looking at encyclopedias and watching documentaries, and then still absorbing the culture along the way. And I think that's what Sinners did for me too, was that it's like, it's kind of like the way I conceptualize things is like, it's understanding the culture and the movements, but still being like, but don't forget, there's still more out there. There's
Yeah.
still more to absorb than just your 4 blocks and your city. Like, get to know beyond your area. And that's kind of what like Sinners like did for me too. But it hung with me where I was like, I'm really into this. So I can't wait to see it again.
Again, it's on digital now and in Blu-ray here in a few weeks. So I'm saying if you're down for the down, I'm saying it
Watch
is
it.
available to be had.
Yep.
So
All right. Now let's get to our last bit of things. What you been listening to? What have you been spinning? What
a lot actually.
vinyls?
What records have I listened to on vinyl? Is able. I actually ordered from Get On Down. They did a pretty small pressing of 8-ball MJGs on Top of the World, and I know this is gonna sound. It's gonna. I know that I'm about to sound pretentious when I say this to you. When I listened to that song, when I listened to that CD initially, it's about the time it came out, 94, 95, on a RCA CD boombox, the most tinny clock radio ass speakers.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first CD player I owned, and I loved it and I bumped it all the time. But the reality of it is that that's the equipment I had. When I put this record down and dropped that fucking stylus on there for the first time, I promise you, it was like hearing that record for the first time. Never in my life have I had that quality of sound from this particular production. I've never had it on speakers of the caliber that I have back here. Those are some nice clip speakers, as you can see back there on my shelf backyard. If you're looking at the video portion of this, I was truly astounded by the quality of that record, and I was just like, that's crazy. Because I know what this record is. I've listened to this a bunch. You know what I'm saying? The CD, I think, is in the drawer behind me somewhere still. So I own this still on CD, but I've never heard it like I heard it in this situation. And then, so I was super excited to re-listen to that and had a good time listening to that, and highly recommend. There's I got the pressing I have is limited, but I think it's still available to be had on like a particular shade of vinyl. So you're saying it's all good. I just happen to buy the one that came with the OBI strip because I love those. You know what I'm saying? And so forth on a particular kind of color vinyl. So that's why I got that particular colorway. The Clips is back. Malice. Excuse me, No Malice, because he doesn't go by Malice. Malice. No Malice. Pusha T. Ace Trumpets. It's the single from their soon to be released. Let God Sort Them Out, and it's so good.
That song goes off. Like goes the bitch, fuck off.
It rings right off, y'all. And I'm telling you right now, go. And not only does it go, not only does that bitch ring the fuck off, No Malice, of course. Sometimes, like I say, Pusha T is so dope at what he does, but his big brother sometimes come through and is like, but wait, let me show you some next shit. And he raps his ass off, bro. I'm telling you right now, Penny Alavaca. Anyway, it's dope. So, Ace Trumpets, Clips. You should be fucking out with that. A$AP Rock dropped a new album again. I love Ace Rock. Ace is so dope, but this one in particular is dope. This is a fully formed A$AP Rock rapping in the pocket, fucking spitting hot fire on dope ass beats, doing crazy dope shit, rapping about things. What makes A$AP interesting is rapping about the most interesting things.
Is it a concept album?
Just Ace rapping, doing some songs.
Because he's like sometimes he dabbles in like a whole concept, and then sometimes it's he's just going off.
In this case, just a good time. Have a bunch of guests on it.
Nice.
Homeboy, of course, homeboy Sandman. He has a group called Lights with him that they do joints together. He's on there. Open Mike Eagle's on there, but you think you hear me say that, you think, "Ooh, Open Mike Eagle spitting." Open Mike Eagle is singing the hook on a song. Fantastic, and it's gorgeous. It's so dope. But I want you to listen, in particular, to the song "Snail Zero."
All right.
Snail Zero by Aesop Rock. I want you to listen to that song and then come talk to me about it.
All right, I'm
It's
gonna
crazy.
peep it
It's
for sure.
crazy. So absolutely love that. Andre 3K dropped out of nowhere, just dropped a little joint called 7 Piano Sketches. Literally just my man freestyling on the piano, having a good time. Just fun. It's just fun. I love listening to 3 Stacks music. These are not these impressive piano concertos or anything like that. There, just my man having a good time on the piano for a little bit. 7 Piano Sketches, probably like 20 minutes tops, something like that. Real fun listen. Real good time to be out there. I tell you, you should be getting down with it because it's like it's got these crazy. One title, and my kid loves this title. Let me pull it up right quick because it's such a dumb title that you're gonna be like, that's crazy. But Andre 7 Piano Sketches. I had to here, let me turn my phone down so I don't accidentally play it. When you're an ant and you wake up, hold up this because the title's so long. This is one title. When you're an ant, you wake up in an awesome mood. And hold on, the title's still scrolling. This because it's such a long title. The whole thing. Hold on, let me type it out. I'll type it into which so I can read you the whole thing. Andre 3K 7 Piano Sketches. I want to read you this whole title. 7 Piano Sketches. And here we go. This is track number 3. When you're an ant and you wake up in an awesome mood, about to drive your son to school, only to discover that you left the lights on your car on last night, so your battery is drained. That's the name of the song. It's just some fun bullshit like that. And it's like I said, just a little fun, little piano sketch. And it's let's see, how long is that one? That one is 53 seconds.
See, and I love that he's just doing what he's doing.
Yep.
He's like, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna make music. I'm just gonna have a good time. I'm just, just gonna enjoy it. Like, and that's where I'm gonna exist. And so then it's like very few people like live without rules. Not saying he's unruly, just
for sure.
He just like I'm gonna do a flute album. I'm gonna do a piano album. I don't know what I'm gonna do next. It's just the sort of headspace I'm in.
Yep.
So it's like that part I really, really respect it.
I'm just gonna enjoy life and making music, making the type of music I like right now. I know people want me to rap, but I'm just not in a rapping place right now. I'm a 50-year-old man. What the hell am I rap about? I get that. And so it's a good time.
Yeah, he's like, this is just what I'm gonna do. Yeah, over on my end, this band Turnstile just came out with a new album. A little more on like the it's like a punkish, like a hardcore sound. But this album, they really stretched the fuck out of their legs. Like they brought a lot of like different genres in.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like this album's just really breathing in ways. But what I love most about it is like this really shows that like production like plays in making an album. The fucking production is phenomenal in this. Like the sounds are just coming from everywhere, from the left, from the right, from above and below. Like it's not like it's a brutal attack. It's just like all of a sudden you hear something, you're like, okay, where is this coming from? And then it's all layered appropriately where it's like vocals aren't too high, bass isn't too much. Everything is just in this nice, like fluid state. So the album's really, really good. Now for like true, like Turnstile fans, it's a polarizing album because it isn't as like hard and heavy as the other albums have been. Like I said, but it really shows like how a band can show a little like growth and maturity without abandoning everything, just being like, we're gonna give this a try.
Yeah.
Um, and then the way they kind of have launched this album is they've done a few like free shows just in really random places. Like in the town I grew up, Oxnard, just a bit of ways north, they did a free show like in a Unitarian church going across the country, kind of doing this. And so it's just like, young people, come, fucking come to the show. Let's turn up. Let's go wild. And that shit's tight. They have a visual album that's out like in the movie theaters right now, so you can listen to the old album like that way, and people are just eating it up. And I'm like, yeah, this is. I love when this shit happens. You know, like we talked about Matrix, like when you can have like an immersive experience. I'm like, yeah, if this is my favorite band, then I want to devour it all up. You know,
Yeah.
so that's been really good. Um, I also like randomly like really like rediscovered a band called Sisters of Mercy, which is like a goth rock band from like the maybe mid 80s, early 90s type of thing. And so it's just one of those things where I had like a sound in my head and I was like, what the fuck is this from? And then I kept thinking it was a group called Bauhaus, and I was like, no, it's not Bauhaus. It's fucking something different. And then coincidentally, I was talking to my friend Steve, and he didn't mention it, but it was like after I talked to him, I was like, because Steve and I used to skate a lot. And then I
Yeah.
remembered when I first started skating, and then I was like, yeah, I remember I'd skate, and then I would listen to fucking Sisters of Mercy. That's who it is. And so then it was just, I've been listening to like their essentials a lot lately and just super into them. And then another band I like is called the OCs, which are a little more of like a psychedelic rock group. And they have an album out called Sorks 80. And that album is a lot of fun. So that kind of been like in that headspace right now. Just stuff a little bit off the beaten path is always my interest. Um, but so that's been like my heavy rotation lately, and just kind of just enjoying it up, you know. Um, so kind of to put a pin in things for tonight. We'll definitely be back in July. Shit's gonna be crazy. We're gonna try to go back to back, bring the streak alive again.
Back
Uh,
to back.
so we'll see what's up. In between, I got a lot of stuff happening. We got Father's Day coming around the corner. Tomorrow Wednesday kicks off my first day of my summer break. So I'll just be kind of chilling around and stuff like that, doing some adventures. Already got some talk with Gavin and maybe taking him on some like skate park tours. Um, Lucy's got some plans to hang out with some of her girlfriends, a bunch of like loud little preteen girls, and take them places. Hopefully I can sit rather far
She,
away
she,
from them.
she is a teenager at this point, bro. We don't preteen her no more. She's just a teen. It's just teens
Yeah.
now.
No, it's true. It's true. So,
Crossed over, baby.
yeah, she did fully fucking crossed over. So, and then just, adventures with my wife, because sometimes these kids don't want to hang out with us. So then we just get out and then we're like, let's go do a thing. So we'll see how it goes. But, T, man, thank you for joining me this evening.
All
Delvin was
love.
supposed to make it, like I said, but, he's hanging out with his lady. So,
Happy birthday
hopefully
to
they're having
Delvin's
a good
lady.
evening. Yep. Still don't know her name. Rhonda. I'm going to call her Rhonda.
Help me, Rhonda.
I feel like she's a Rhonda, but probably not. Or
I feel like you start
maybe
with an S. I know he told us. I feel like
did
you
he?
start with an S. Yeah,
I'm going maybe Michelle too, but I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking Michelle Obama. I don't know. That's racist. Anyways, what did we say show title was? I already forgot. Fucking something.
Oh shit! I thought you wrote it down.
I thought I did, but then I didn't. Then we started talking about some other shit.
No, like I literally saw you type it. So let's see where you typed it at, because you really didn't.
No, I
type
didn't
it out.
start. I didn't. Anyways, we'll figure this shit out. All right, T, man, thank you so much. I'm Chalfie. We out of here. Peace.